The National Football League. Today, it's the Miami Dolphins versus the Indianapolis Colts.
And here are the standings in the AFC East. Buffalo with an 8-6 record. They play later today. Miami, if they win today and next week, they're sure of a playoff position. The Colts have to win the last two games, and they need help. The weather, well, last night it was a record low, 8 below. It has climbed all the way to 7 above. That's outside. The good news is we are inside, and the conditions are absolutely perfect. Hello, everybody. I'm Charlie Jones. This is Merlin Olsen. When you think of these two teams, you think of individuals. You think of Marino and Miami, Dickerson, and the Colts. Are these one-man teams?
Charlie, they're really not. You don't win with a one-man team, and both these coaches very concerned about adding dimension and balance to their teams. For Don Shula, that meant going out and looking for running talent in the draft. He spent a #1 choice on Sammy Smith, a very good one. Sammy held out in the preseason, cost him some effectiveness, but he's back now, and he's taking some pressure off Dan Marino.
And the Colts, they went after receiver. They got a good one in Andre Rison.
Well, just exactly the opposite situation there. They need that downfield talent of a receiver to take some of the heat off of Dickerson. And Rison has had a brilliant season. Last week, a big touchdown in that victory over Cleveland. He continues to help this offense in the passing game.
But when you think of these two teams, you just feel they have to go back to the main man.
Well, one of the best things a coach can do is put the ball where the talent is. And both of these coaches will be giving that ball today to Marino and Dickerson. There is the emphasis right there. Dan Marino, a magician with that football. Nobody throws it better. And he's glad, Charlie, that they're inside today. Dickerson runs the football as well as anyone who ever played this game. And a hamstring injury there, he's glad it's warm inside as well. There's Dickerson, still suffering a little bit from that hamstring injury. Told me that he's glad this game is inside because he really can't open it up until that hamstring heats up a little bit.
Marino won the Marino and Miami together. They won the toss, and they will be receiving. And Dean Biasucci will be kicking off. The deep man for the Miami Dolphins. Number 27 is Lorenzo Hampton, and number 20 is Mark Logan. And Logan is the key return man. He is second in the National Football League in kickoff returns. Coming back last week off of an injury, and really played well, as did the entire Dolphin team. And this is Dean Biasucci. It's just like a playoff game. And here's Logan. And he returns to the 26-yard line. Let's take a look at Miami. They feature an offensive line that has allowed an NFL low of 6 sacks. Their backs and receivers. The Dolphins will be without Mark Duper, the wide receiver. He is out with a groin injury. On passing downs, both running backs and the tight end come out. Jim Jensen, crash, comes into the backfield. And Andre Brown and Scott Schwades will come in as the wide receivers. Miami first down from their own 26. And they start out on the ground with Sammy Smith. And the defense is waiting for them. A gain of 3. It'll be second down and 7. The Colts defense, the front 7, they're going to be happy to see Miami's passing game. They've really struggled against the run. On passing downs, the nose tackle and a linebacker come out, and Sam Clancy and Ezra Johnson form a 4-man front. Then 2 more linebackers will come out, and Chris Good and Bruce Plummer come in. They join a secondary that also makes an adjustment, as Keith Taylor, who has 7 interceptions, will come in as the dime back. Marino to throw. Jensen is there, has the first down. Jeff Harrod makes the tackle.
One of the most valuable utility men in the NFL. Backs up at so many positions, but his prime responsibilities out of the sets on long yardage. There he is picking up a first down. Mr. Third down.
Tom Brown and Sammy Smith back in as running backs. That's the standard set on first down. And here is Sammy Smith. And he has a yard to the 38. That's it.
Smith ran out of the arms of John Hand, but there were a bunch of other blue shirts waiting for him. They put him down for a short game, but you can see already that Don Shula trying to mix the run. They did that so effectively on their big opening drive of 80 yards last week against New England. There's the missed tackle. Good work by Smith, but look at that.
Donnell Thompson, Chip Banks were waiting for him.
Yeah, lots of friends.
And now Mark Logan and Jim Jensen come into the set. It's 2nd and 9. Reno fires and has another first down, his second of the drive.
Banks with season highs last week. Personal best, 6 passes, 119 yards versus New England in the lineup today because of Duper's absence. But he is a very dangerous receiver.
And Fred Banks picks up 15 on his first reception of the ball game. His totals on the season not all that impressive. 27 for 485 yards, but a nice 18-yard average. Play action fake to Sammy Smith. Here is Brown, 9 yards. So the Dolphins are mixing it up. They're showing a little bit of everything.
Charlie, one of the things that you'll see Marino do more of now that Sammy Smith is with him in the backfield is the play-action pass. People didn't used to believe that the play-action pass meant anything. They have to respect it now because Sammy Smith makes it real. Marino with time dumps the ball off to Tom Brown, and there's Brown just lowering his shoulder. He's had a lot of injury problems. In fact, told me yesterday, he said, I think maybe somebody up there was testing me. He's had a lot of leg problems, Charlie.
2nd and 1. Smith cut off inside, a little step outside. Should have the first down as he goes to the 36. He needed one, and he gets 2. And that is the 3rd first down in this drive for Miami that started back at their own 26-yard line. And Marino 3 of 3 for 32 yards, an impressive opening. Banks goes wide to the far side. Clayton is a flanker to the near side. Edmonds, the tight end, is on the right side. Play action fake. Looking left.
Screen.
And it is incomplete.
Well played by John Hand. The screen did not fool anyone. Good defensive lineman sniffed that screen, Charlie. They smell it coming. You'll see him on the right-hand side of your screen, number 78. They're trying to sell the play action part of this play. Hand a little bit late, I think, sensed that Dellenbach wanted to slide out into that screen. Simply would not allow it. It's a good thing that ball was dropped. It would have been a loss.
Also good play by Dwayne Bickett, who came in, put the pressure, and then tried to screen off the pass, let the defense form behind him. 2nd down and 10.
Audible.
Incomplete. Logan, the intended receiver. Michael Ball had the coverage, and suddenly it's 3rd down and 10.
Mark Logan played extremely well in last week's ball game. Spent 6 weeks on IR with leg problems, knee problems, and came back. And Charlie, the mixture of Smith and Logan a slasher and Smith a power runner. That's kind of like an off-speed pitcher and a fastballer. I mean, it keeps the defense off balance a little bit.
First 3rd down of the drive. And Miami, the best in the National Football League in 3rd down conversion. They go to 4 wide with Jensen in the backfield. And it's going to be a free down. The Colts were in the neutral zone. And it is incomplete. Banks, the intended receiver, down the far side. But what Marino does, and you'll see it throughout this game, from the shotgun when he makes the movement with his knee, and that's simply to tell the center that he is ready for the snap. And when he does it, he pulls a a player offside. Now, the conversation here was, is it a sharp enough movement to draw the man offside?
Well, Charlie, he can't do too much of that. I think really it's his voice more than anything else that pulls the man offside here. That hard count. But what a good quarterback will do is get you into the rhythm and then take advantage of you.
Multiple foul on a defense. Offside. Illegal contact. Penalty taken as illegal contact. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Ooh.
That was so 3rd and 10.
Let's watch Marino. Watch him as he sets up in the shotgun. And watch his feet. Watch what he does with his feet on this particular play. He'll set things in motion. A little bit of swinging there. That's the signal. I'm ready. And, of course, Donnell Thompson moving. But, again, I think Thompson moving to the voice rather than the movement of the feet, Charlie.
So the 5-yard penalty goes to the 31 and his first down. Sweep right side with Sammy Smith. He's being defense pretty well. 28-yard line, gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
But what they're getting out of their running game now is enough respect to keep the Colt defense from loading up against the pass. What the teams were doing early in the year, what they've done over the past couple of seasons, rush 3 and drop 8. Don Shula said we can't allow teams to show that kind of disrespect for our running game. It's not fair to Dan Marino to have to play against a defense that's purely stacked against the pass.
2nd and 7. That's Fred Young, who is stepping in and step back out. Marino fires. It's incomplete at the 11-yard line. Banks the intended receiver. And Mike Pryor picked him up in the secondary.
I talked to Mike Pryor yesterday about working against Marino. The fact that Marino not only has such a quick release, but such great confidence in the accuracy of his arm, that he's not afraid to throw to a man that's double covered. So he said even if you're sitting right on top of your man and you think you have a good position on him, you can't ever be sure because suddenly that ball is there and you say, oh my God, how did he get it there that fast? Marino is a magician.
Also, you cannot assume he won't come to you.
That's right.
If you got good coverage.
Even if you're double covered.
Yep. 3rd and 7. Pressure from the outside. It is picked up. Complete to Jensen. Dropped it to 25. A gain of 3. It will be 4th down and 4. Keith Taylor making the tackle.
Well, we don't have to tell this Colt defense who Mr. 3rd down is. They've got their eyes on Jensen right there. Keith Taylor, 7 interceptions on the year. A big play man is as important to his team as Jim Jensen is to Miami. In fact, the 6-man concept of basketball might be utilized in talking about those two. Very important players.
Stoyanovich, a 43-yard field goal attempt. It's good.
Stoyanovich had not kicked here since the combine. In fact, this is the first game he's ever played here. Even though he went to school just down the street at IU. Go back and look at that kick by Stoyanovich, who's grown into this responsibility.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser.
Pete Stoyanovich will be kicking off, and he just booted that 43-yard field goal to put Miami up on the opening drive 3-0. And the deep backs, well, in reality right now, the deep back is Albert Bentley. Now backing up, that's James Pruitt, number 86. So they'll have 2 backs on the return. Bentley is the man that they really would like the ball to come to.
Pruitt, a former Dolphin with excellent speed, but Bentley a little more shifty.
And Bentley will take it at the 2. He's out to the 10, to the 20, and he'll return to about the 27-yard line. The Colts offense. Well, the Colts offensive line, they're still nicked up a bit, but Chris Hinton has returned at left tackle. Backs and receivers. Jack Trudeau is back at quarterback after suffering a concussion last week on passing downs. Eric Dickerson, a pretty good receiver. Now he will stay in, and Albert Bentley will change to a wide receiver. The tight end will then come out, and James Pruitt becomes the 4th wide receiver. first down at their own 27-yard line. And a play-action fake. And the pass is complete to Beach, the tight end. And the ball is loose and fumble, and Miami.
Now they're saying it's down.
No, they're going to say it's down. Wait a minute.
Officials pointing to the ground and saying that it was blown dead.
And the Colts will retain possession at the 31. And it'll go for a gain of 4. It'll be second down and 6.
Take a quick peek at it. You've got to believe those play-action fakes when they fake it to Dickerson. Beach hit right here. Watch for the football. No, that's clearly a steal. And if they get the playoff, they're going to have an opportunity to get away with one.
They got away with one. You're right.
Unless the whistle blew, Charlie. And I think maybe that was the signal by the referee as he pointed to the ground saying that the whistle had blown, killing the play. But let's look at it one more time. Certainly, if a whistle was not blown, that's clearly a steal right there. There's no question about it.
And the ensuing play, Eric Dickerson picked up 3 to the 34. And, of course, once the next play is run, you cannot go back and make any changes.
Charlie, again, I think the motion by the official, pointing to the ground, he's saying, I blew the whistle.
The ball was dead, and the play goes on. Third down and 3. Colts with 4 wide receivers. Brooks, the motion man. And it is incomplete. Brooks, the intended receiver. Let's go to Bob Costas in New York for an update. Bob?
All right, Charlie, big game at Riverfront. On the first play from scrimmage, Houston fumbles. David Fulcher recovers, and Boomer Esiason immediately cashes in. Here's Eddie Brown latching on to the 22-yarder. The Bengals need this one to stay alive. If Houston wins it, they clinch the Central. 7-0 Cincy in the first. Charlie?
Thank you, Bob. Here the situation is Miami needs to win 2 to assure themselves of a playoff. The Colts need to win 2 this week and next week, and they need some help.
Stark blocked last week for a touchdown. Miami will bring some heat sometime in this ball game, but not on this first one as Schwades gets a low kick, a line driver, and he is gone.
Block, he'll do it.
He is gone.
70 yards.
Schwades, who early in his career, Charlie, had real trouble fielding punts, had a fine week last week, bolstered his confidence. Talked to him earlier. I asked him if he would have trouble fielding the ball out of this kind of a background. He said, no, I played at Syracuse in this same kind of dome. I feel very comfortable. He's more than comfortable right now. He's elated as he blows this game open in the early going with a special teams touchdown.
Stojanovic now to add the point after. Stout to hold. Jeff Uhlenhake, the snapper. And it is good. Scott Schwades in his 3rd year, drafted 2nd.
Special team coach Mike Westhoff has to be elated at the play by Schwades here. Schwades with fine speed, but he just attacks that coverage and breaks open. They didn't even have to block for him upfield.
They predicted a gloomy year.
Conversation as we look at this is the football that goes into the home of Scott Schwades.
Into the trophy
Into the
chest.
trophy case.
That's his first NFL touchdown. And
you still have yours? That's what we were talking about.
I surely do, Charlie. Scored a touchdown against Green Bay my first time as a pro and put that football carefully away.
How many did you score all day?
Only one. As a pro.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that it?
First and last.
Stojanovic to kick off. Bentley and Pruitt are deep. And Bentley will return. Out across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Now let's check around the National Football League and see what else is going on early on this Sunday. Cincinnati, as Bob Costas had the update for you, quickly in front of Houston. Green Bay and Chicago. A couple of quick scores. They're tied at 7. San Diego, Kansas City, no score. Pittsburgh, an early jump on New England. Detroit, likewise, on Tampa Bay. And here it is 10-0. And there is Scott Schwades, and yes, his father also, Air Schwades, went to Purdue, great All-American. Colts from their own 26. Trudeau fires, pass is complete at the 31-yard line. And he goes to Eric Dickerson, and Dickerson is racked up after a gain of 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
Charlie, just a footnote to that return. The last time Miami returned a punt for a touchdown was in 1986 against the Colts. The man who returned it, Pruitt, who is now a Colt. James Pruitt. So, a little strange quirk to history.
They're going to mark it at the 32, so it is 2nd down and 4. There is Pruitt. Very quiet here in the Hoosier Dome. We'll pump fake, a fumble, and Trudeau recovered it.
E.J. Jr.
Jr. got it.
E.J. No, it's recovered by Trudeau, but it was E.J. Jr. knocking that ball loose out of Trudeau's hands. I don't know whether he slapped the ball or Trudeau just dropped it. The pressure will come from the top of your screen, number 54. He gets around Dickerson, and Pruitt, or Trudeau, just tried to pull that football down and run with it and lost control of it. As E.J. wrapped around his legs, E.J. finally having the kind of impact that Shula hoped he would have.
How good a blocker is Dickerson?
When he wants to block, pretty good, but Charlie, among the blocking backs in the league, one of the worst, actually.
And here's the draw. And this is what he does well. I would not bother having the man block. Dickerson to the 45, a gain of 17, 1st down.
Let's open that up and watch Dickerson. The delay here, they'll just hand the ball to him, and there is the hole opening up. Donaldson, 53, great block. 97, Boza had gotten outside. They left all kinds of room as they anticipated the pass. Eric Dickerson doesn't need a lot of room. When he gets started upfield, he is a load.
1st down at the 45. Pass is complete to Bentley. And they'll mark it dead at the Miami 48-yard line, a gain of 7, 2nd down and 3. Let's look at that Miami defense. Well, Dickerson exchanging a few words, so temper's beginning to flare early in the ball game. Miami has jumped out in front with a field goal and a 70-yard punt return, and they lead 10-0. Miami's front 7 coming off of an outstanding game against New England. On passing downs, E.J. Jr. comes out. John Boza comes in. That completes the defensive front 4. Then the other 3 linebackers will come out. And J.B. Brown, Don McNeil, and Lippert Hobley will join a secondary that has to make up for the loss of William Judson, who's in the hospital in Miami with blood clots in his calf. We know that he's watching the telecast, and we hope that he's doing well. Dickerson has the reception, and he goes out at the 40-yard line.
Last week that he wanted to get the ball more to Dickerson as a pass receiver. He gets it a lot as a runner, but when he can run, you see him left-hand side of your screen just stretching out, he becomes a very dangerous man anytime he touches the ball. Watch him right there, just lower the shoulder. The thing that amazes me constantly when I watch Dickerson is how much yardage he makes after he's supposedly tackled, Charlie.
1st down at the 40. Trudeau with all the time in the world, overthrow. Andre Rison, the intended receiver, and that one just sailed on him. It got up and just kept going. And it'll be 2nd down and 10, but he had excellent blocking, lots of time to throw.
Got to wonder if Trudeau isn't still a little foggy from last week, Charlie.
I'm a little foggy from watching what happened to him last week.
Well, he took a shot that he will certainly remember for a long time. Spent the night in the hospital, and he was getting updates from the emergency room on the game. We'll show you that hit in just a moment here.
Colts won it in overtime. He said they kept coming in and saying, looks bad, looks bad. No, it said, looks good, looks good. So the doctors were giving the report. Going deep. Good defensive play at the last possible moment.
Jarvis Williams, number 26, strong safety who has played so very well. Watch number 26 slice in at the last moment here. They're trying to cover with Offerdahl, but there is Jarvis Williams. He played free safety last year, has moved to the strong safety position. A great sense of timing. This is last week now. A quick look at what happened to Trudeau. Bubba Baker from the left, Clay Matthews from the right, the sandwich here. Bam, bam. And he is out before he hits the ground. Well, he said he had cobwebs and a headache and a stiff neck well into the week.
That his eyelashes hurt when he blinked. Finley to the 24. The running style of Dickerson is contagious. There's a flag down.
Personal foul against Miami.
Will add it to the end of the play.
J.B. Brown tried to make a shoulder tackle. Comes up and throws his body at Bentley's legs. Watch it here. Bentley's going to take the shot. Here comes Brown. Throws in. Tries to cut him down with the body. Didn't wrap. You've got to wrap around those people. And Bentley, who's a fine runner in his own right, picks up the first.
Tack the penalty on, into the run. First down.
Over to talk to Larry Keenan, the offensive coordinator.
That's what he said.
There's Trudeau's comment after, well, you could understand.
Was it Bob Costas in the fog of the concussion that he was getting the updates? No, it was from the interns and doctors.
He kept coming in to say things like, oh, it looks bad. Barr's about to kick a field goal, and finally came in and said, you won. Mike Pryor intercepted a pass, took it back for a touchdown.
They're resetting the clock. The penalty tack to the end of the run. And the ball goes to the 12-yard line where it is first down.
Dolphins traditionally one of the least penalized teams in the NFL, but they have given the Colts excellent field position. This situation.
And a very important drive for the Colts because they have to get back in this ball game or they could simply, the Dolphins could get out in front and run away with it.
One of the problems of a running team is that it's very difficult for them to explode for quick points. Important that they not get too far behind. So, Charlie, they're looking to get to 10-7 here if they can.
Ryson goes wide to the far side. Floyd is wide to the near side. Crowd still very hushed. Brooks the motion man, and he reverses. Brooks has it at the 9. Oh, they're ruling it incomplete.
No reception. He did not have control. He was bobbling the football. Travis Williams said, hey, we got the football. It's ours. Bill Brooks, he'll fight for the football. One of the fine receivers that way. Watch him here. He's got to get that second foot down. And 1 foot down before it was stripped away, but that's fine defensive play. This Miami defense, even though their numbers have not improved as much as they'd like, a much better defense now than they were at the beginning of this year.
Now we're going to have a review of the play.
And I think they're questioning, did he have possession of the ball, or did he indeed fumble it?
I think your call was right, though. I don't think that he had possession. When you look at it at regular speed, and when you look at it in slow motion, it always looks like possession.
We'll look at it again. Now, if he has both feet on the ground as he catches this football, it would be ruled. Now they're going to say no completion.
After further review, play stands, second down.
He only had 1 foot down, and again, that's in slow motion. Sometimes in slow motion, it's a little deceiving because it looks like possession. Trudeau, 5 of 8 for 41 yards. I said that. That's right. Here we go. This one is dropped to Eric Dickerson, and he goes out just inside the 7-yard line. And Barry Krause, the former Colt, was there.
I was just going to say, one of his teammates from last year, Barry Krause, who was turned loose in the Plan B free agency, went to Cleveland, did not make it there, but now leads this Miami team in tackles. In fact, has started the last 10 games, and in 11 games has accumulated more than 100 tackles. So Krause, whose family lives here, his wife and 2 children still living in Indianapolis, this is a very emotional homecoming for him today.
And this is a very important play for the Colts. 3rd and 5 at the 7. 3rd and 4. Brooks throws back over the middle, has a man there. Talked about in the opening.
Well, this is the kind of dimension to the passing game that the Colts are looking for. Brilliant rookie continues to impress with another touchdown to add to his accomplishments for this season.
And the Colts just pacing together a 74-yard touchdown drive. Here's the extra point. It's good. And Indianapolis pulls within 3. We'll be back with a kickoff in a moment.
They bring you by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Braun Electric Shavers. It is through superior design that superior performance can be achieved. And by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right.
We're back to the Hoosier Dome. And there's Andre Rison. That is his 4th touchdown of the year. Last week, he had 5 receptions for 135 yards and a score. And Dean Biasucci will be kicking off with Mark Logan and Lorenzo Hampton, the deep backs. There's a scoring drive, 74 yards in 11 plays. At the 10, to the 20, and he returns to the 30-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown, Merle.
Bill Brooks coming in motion will go out here to create traffic problems. Rison will lead Langford outside and then come all the way across inside to receive that pass. But watch the play. Brooks will run to the outside here and kind of give them traffic problems. Rison just breaks away from Langford. And, of course, the critical thing there was time to wait for that receiver to come open. Good protection by the offensive line.
Interesting note on the Miami offense at their own 30-yard line. 2:54 left in the first quarter. Only the second time they've been on offense. Here's Sammy Smith jumping to the outside and churning as he goes to the 36-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Michael Ball was there making the tackle. Their opening drive, they went in, they got the field goal. The second touchdown came on a punt return. Cincinnati has scored again. They're up 14-0 over Houston. Green Bay leads Chicago 7-0. 14-7, lead by 7. San Diego, Kansas City still no score. Pittsburgh leading. Detroit up by a pair of touchdowns. Here it's Miami by 3 over Indianapolis, and that is the time remaining in the first quarter. Sammy Smith with a little head fake to the outside and came back inside where Harvey Armstrong was waiting on him. He may get a yard. That's going to be about all he's going to get.
Not much room inside. Don Shula said that with Smith's addition to the mix offensively, they're spending more time on the running game, but they still are working more on the passing game. Marino still the main man. Shula would like to see a third and much shorter than that.
Sweep far side with Clayton. Well defended. Pickett and Daniel.
Mark Clayton, one of the finest runners after the catch in the NFL. They give it to him out of the backfield here. Eugene Daniel. Watch him. He'll come up from the outside. Pickett a good job there, but that was Daniel submarining, taking the legs out from underneath Mark Clayton and forcing the punt.
Reggie Roby to kick, and Clarence Verdun, not expected to play earlier in the week, has a hamstring, came out of last week's ball game. He is there to return. He bobbles the snap. Rod still gets it off. There'll be no flag because he dropped the ball.
Well, we do get a flag,
we get flags, but
I
I
think
think
they have to eat it.
It's going to be down around the 2 or the 1 yard line.
Charlie, there are 2 flags.
Another one on the far side.
That's for ineligible people downfield too soon. The timing of the punt destroyed when Roby fumbled the snap. He's had 2 of those earlier in the year. Now, the the flag on this side might be for something different. No, that's all it is.
They're ineligible.
Ineligible men downfield.
That's hit the ball, roll down to the 3-yard line. They'll want him to kick again. So I'm sure they'll kick this over.
Let's see where the snap is. That's just dropped by Roby. He's had a couple of those, and then he drops it again. Unbelievable that he was able to get that kick off. Quintus McDonald, number 96, right on top of him. Roby did a great job of getting the ball away, and it ended up down on about the 2.5-yard line.
He got it out for 61 yards.
But they're going to have to kick it again.
Now, what happens if you're wondering, if you don't know the rules? As soon as he dropped the ball, all of his protection goes away.
Unless they rough it.
Well, yeah.
Running into the kicker, it goes away.
Well,
Charlie.
but roughing,
you still can't rough it.
You still can't rough it anyway. That's a roughing.
But of course, the men on the line who are timing it out, counting, saying 1,001, 1,002 go, they're all headed down.
Oh yeah, they've already gone. They're now looking back, wondering where the ball is. Now watch Roby. He keeps his plant foot on the floor. Ooh, nothing good. From the 15, here's Berdan. And he returns to the 26-yard line. He'll have 11 yards on the return. That kick by Reggie Roby, good for 53 yards. Miami leads by 3. One's right-footed, one's left-footed, but in addition to that, entirely different techniques.
Charlie, they really do. Roby and Stark, two of the most respected kickers in the NFL. But if we go to a split of the two of them, you'll see that their technique differs dramatically. Watch the high follow-through by Roby here, and then notice that his foot right there stays flat on the ground. Now Stark, not quite as high on the follow-through, his foot well off the ground with a jumping motion. Smile from Roby. He's dodged a bullet here.
He really did. Colts from their own 26-yard line. Trudeau has time, throws back underneath the coverage to Eric Dickerson at the 31-yard line, maybe the 32. He's becoming more and more an important receiver.
Colts trying to throw the football to spread this Miami defense, hoping to take advantage of that later with the running game of Eric Dickerson.
And we come to the end of the first quarter. Interesting confrontation, a very quiet crowd. Miami leads by 3.
In the middle of that picture, Lifford Hobley, number 29, playing excellent football. In fact, starting in that defense today because of Louis Oliver's shoulder problems. Interesting story about what he was doing last week. Sure.
Second down and 4 right now for the Colts. Dickerson has rushed twice for 20 yards, has 4 receptions for 25. And this is dropped. Bentley, the intended receiver.
Last week, we were here doing a game between Indianapolis and the Cleveland Browns. Webster Slaughter will catch this pass from Kosar, but watch number 39, Mike Pryor, just step in and steal the football. Lifford Hobley, who was watching this game in Miami as he waited for their late game to start, saw that play and said, hey, if I get a chance at one like that today, I'll do the same thing. John Stevens has the ball. Lifford Hobley, 39. And what does he do? Steals the football.
They're down and 4. As he reverses. Here's Dickerson, jumps to the outside. He'll pick up the first down.
Well,
and Lifford Hobley makes the tackle.
Lifford Hobley making his presence known here, but again, Dickerson showing you why he is the class of running backs in the NFL. Nothing inside. He'll just dip it inside and then watch the break to the outside. Gets away from T.J. Turner. Number 29 will be there as Dickerson just lowers that shoulder. A little bit of help inside from John Offerdahl as well, number 56.
And Jeff Cross, number 91, and a first down at the 38. Cut off inside, tries to slide outside. There's nothing there. Still picks up a yard to the 39. E.J. Jr. was waiting for Dickerson.
If there is a way to stop Dickerson, and there have been very few who have done it over the years, it's to turn him to the sideline. to force him to turn sideways and take advantage of him quickly. That was good defense by E.J. Jr. and nothing inside. You can't give him those alleys to cut back into. He's one of the best at doing that.
2nd and 9. Dickerson with a good block, and the pass is incomplete. Bryson was open just for a moment. Trudeau missed him. He would have had to really have thrown a perfect pass. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
William Judson out of the lineup. They're testing Rodney Thomas. Thomas, who's played a great deal, the target of that particular action.
And did you notice on the replay, Dickerson a pretty good block. He was staying back. It's 2 or 3 times he's been called on a block, and he got 1 out of 3.
Charlie, I didn't say he couldn't block.
No, that's right. No.
He'd rather run the football and block, and when you're the star, you don't have many opportunities to block.
Deep over the middle, incomplete. Bentley, the intended receiver. It'll be 4th down and 9.
Lifford, Hobley in coverage.
Boomer Esiason with another touchdown pass. He has thrown 2 to Eddie Brown, and the Bengals lead Houston in the first quarter 21-0. Check a round of all of the other scores. And here again, in case you joined us late, is Miami 10 and the Colts 7. Miami with a 43-yard field goal and a 70-yard punt return.
Stark's last punt return for a TD because it was short. They were able to take advantage of it. Let's see what he does with this one. Fast snap. Good kick.
Oh, great kick.
Great booming kick.
He kicked this one out of the building, going for the corner, and it won't make it. It will go all the way into the end zone. 61 yards. We've got a timeout, and Miami has the lead by 3.
The writers of Motor Trend magazine road tested a lot of cars before the Mitsubishi Galant. They road tested a lot of cars after it. But no other car was so well conceived, so well crafted, so thoroughly satisfying to drive. And that is why they marked the occasion.
Back to the Hoosier Dome. This is Charlie Jones and Merlin Olsen. It's Miami 10 and the Colts 7.
Left elbow, Dan Marino wearing a brace that helps that tennis elbow that he's been suffering with.
Andy Smith sliding and spinning his way to the 27.
Looking at Dan Marino. Charlie, looking at those numbers, a quarterback would be thrilled. Most quarterbacks in the league would be thrilled to end the season with those numbers.
A little too many interceptions.
Well,
they're very good numbers.
He's still in a positive thing.
Yeah.
But let's put Dan Marino's on there. That's 89. Now let's show you what Dan Marino is being compared against. Those are Marino's numbers from 1984. Now that's the standard that Marino has set, and that's what he is being compared to today. No quarterback may ever get those numbers again.
It's tough when you're being compared to yourself, and you're running second.
Very, very difficult for Marino, who continues to perform well, but teams have taken a long time to figure out how best to play this man. I mean, the conversations between the defensive coordinators around the league. Well, how do you play Dan Marino? Well, how do you play Dan Marino? It's taken them a long time to figure it out. But one thing you don't do against Marino is blitzing. He'll kill you. And that's what they tried to do early in his career.
Meanwhile, Sammy Smith stops at the line of scrimmage, so it's 3rd down and 3. Marino from the shotgun. Watch his knee. That says, okay, we're ready. You will make the center. This is screen
again.
Throwback screen to
Beautiful play.
to the 30, the 35, has a block downfield to the 47-yard line. 20 yards. Mike Pryor and Eugene Daniel finally got it.
Earlier in the first half, we saw that same play stopped by a fine defensive maneuver by John Hand. Marino will go deep and lead those defenders to his right and then throw back against the grain. Good blocking by Dellenbach and 61 Roy Foster.
I want to come back to that play. Just a minute. I got a question for you. First down. Here's Smith.
Good run. Sammy Smith. Showing you some good hip motion and good running upfield. Well, This is the kind of run that will bring a smile to Don Shula's face as Sammy Smith continues to run. Earlier in the year, Sammy Smith had a fine running day against these Colts, and Shula said he'd fumbled the ball twice. Well, we finally got our running game going. Now we got to learn to take the football along with us. Well, Sammy Smith doing a much better job of that as the season has progressed.
Jeff Arad with the last tackle. Here's the tight end. Terrell Edmonds with the reception in the first down. And he will go out at the 37-yard line. Picks up a quick 10 yards on the play. 10:45 is the time remaining in the first half, and Miami leads by 3, 10-7. Let me go back to that screen pass that Marino threw just a moment ago. When he sprinted way back to the right as a former defensive lineman, when you're chasing him that and you get about halfway there, you realize it's a screen pass, then what do you do?
Well, someone has to continue in to pressure Marino. But if you are way back to the outside, you try and spin and get back in to try and help on the tackle.
Is there a moment of panic and say, he just did it to me? He caught me.
Probably.
Marino, lots of time off of the play action. A nice fake. They're ruling him down. They're ruling it. Grasp and control. Now, I would buy the first half of that. I would buy grasp. I would not buy control. But they're protecting the quarterback, which, by the way, is something that Ron Meyer has said that they should do. He said this doesn't bother him at all.
No, in fact, I'm sure Meyer, talking to the officials, said protect both of the quarterbacks today. Dan Marino has surprisingly good strength and mobility. Not considered a highly mobile quarterback. Ron Meyer earlier in
second down. 2nd and 20. Logan has just a couple of yards. It's going to be 3rd and 18. And what did Ron Meyer say when we talked to him yesterday? We spent a lifetime trying to get a great quarterback, and then we try and kill him.
Well, and he's accurate about that. He's your main man, and quarterbacks, of course, are getting more protection because of some of the rules, but what he wants is to have those officials enforcing those rules very strictly. They felt that the hit on Trudeau last week was a late hit. That's one of the reasons that he is sensitive about it this week.
And a quick reminder to our viewers that we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the telecast. Deep over the middle there. It's complete.
Scott Schwades, number 81, with that great punt return earlier. He'll get some action today because of the absence of Duper. He'll be the 4th wide receiver in. And Schwades, we haven't seen much of him as a pass receiver, does an excellent job here.
3rd and 18, he gets 20.
Schwades will come from the far right-hand side. He's the outside. No, he's the slot man there. 2nd man in, able to break loose on that particular play. The man he was working against, Charlie, happens to be Bruce Plummer, a former Dolphin himself.
2 third down conversions in this drive. 1 long, 1 short.
Sammy Smith,
he nailed.
Just decked his own man. He knocked down by Jeff Dellenbach, number 65. The tackle had pulled over, and Sammy cut back against the grain. Watch the collision. 65, lower side of your screen. And as Sammy cuts back here, watch who he collides with. Bam! That's Dellenbach. And Jeff is saying, Sammy, I'm on your side, man. Don't hit me.
He's saying everybody's wearing white helmets. I've got a problem today.
79, Harvey Armstrong, the nose tackle. Very quick, very effective nose tackle. One of the big men in the game today. See if we can spot that. Here's another shot of that play. You see Armstrong being cut on that play. And there's Sammy. Ouch! Boy, you can see it even better from that one. And, Charlie, very often, players in the game are hurt by their own players because they're stretched out. They're in an awkward position, and it's one of your own guys that gets you.
Miami leading by 3, 10-7. With over 8 minutes to go in the first half. Dolphins on the move. Double play action fakes. Going deep into single coverage, and it is incomplete. Clayton, the intended receiver.
Chip Banks with excellent pressure on Marino. But the one thing that Dan Marino will do, he'll wait until he has utilized every bit of time that he can. and then has the great release. Watch it here. He feels the pressure coming his right-hand side. Danks right there, but he got the ball out.
And Mark Clayton, born in Indianapolis, went to Cathedral High School here, has been shut out so far.
I'll tell you, a pretty good job by Eugene Daniel working man-to-man on Clayton. He had him well covered on that play.
And just a quick, don't adjust your sets. Merlin's fighting a little cold today. He sounds a little bit different. 3rd down and 9. Flag is down. Boy, did he get rid of this one. Right into the hands of the official down the sideline.
And it's going to be against the Miami Dolphins. False start.
I think Marino read it immediately.
False start, number 62, offense, 5-yard penalty.
Eric
3rd down.
Albrecht. Number 62. Call him Dirty Harry. You'll see him move a little bit early. He's in the 2-point stance. If he can get back and set, he'd be all right. But you see him leaning back, anticipating an inside rush by the defensive end. And, of course, you can't do that.
And he pull those hands up as he leans back.
Yep.
And
Well, you can't start the play before the ball is snapped, Charlie. That's what it means when you get a false start.
3rd and 14. They've converted on 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 18 in this drive. Incomplete.
Again, working on Eugene Daniel. Freddie Banks, number 86. Charlie, when I said they don't blitz Marino, I'm talking about an all-out blitz. They'll still send linebackers and a mix of backers. Number 86, Banks, bottom of your string. He'll work on with a quick in move here. Eugene Daniel again showing you some excellent coverage. Those defensive backs spend so many hours watching those receivers, watching them come off the ball, watching the way they utilize their time. And a timeout called by Stout. What's Cliff doing? Cliff is holding in there because Scott Schwades, who usually held, has a broken thumb, has a cast on his thumb.
And they're checking the clock again, is the report that we have. Stoyanovich has hit from 43 yards out, and that was the opening drive. Now they're resetting the clock. And this one will be from 47 yards out, and Miami has been known to run a fake.
Just a few weeks ago, they successfully punched one into the end zone. That happened to be with Scott Sequels as a holder, but Stout, also a quarterback. Not quite as fast as Scott, but he can still run and he can still throw. I think they'll try this one.
Notice the right of your screen. There is a Colt just waiting for the fake. It's bending, but he makes it through from 47 yards out.
This crowd watched a couple of kicks drift to the left last week. In fact, either of those field goals late in the game by Matt Barr could have won the game for Cleveland. They drifted left. This one did not.
To you by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. See them all at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer. By Allstate. For home, auto, and life insurance, you're in good hands with Allstate. And by Michelob. One taste will tell you why the night belongs to Michelob.
Welcome back. Let's do a quick check of the scores around the National Football League. And remember, Indianapolis can win the divisional title by winning the last 2 games against Miami and New Orleans, plus 2 losses by Buffalo. They can clinch a wild card by winning the final 2 games, plus 1 loss each by Cleveland and by Kansas City. So those games also important in relationship to this game.
They'll be watching those scores carefully. Good deep catch. Catch.
He catches the catch, and here comes Bentley on the return to the 20, the 25, to the 29-yard line.
Turnovers always is a very important part of the game, Charlie, and that 16, that negative 16, the highest number that one of Don Shula's teams has ever posted. But what else is important is what you do with those takeaways and giveaways. The Dolphins, and if you look at that carefully, look how many points their giveaways have resulted in. 105. They're a minus 68 on that side of the scale. And of course, for the Colts, that plus 16 includes 13 positive points last week, including the winning interception by Mike Pryor against the Browns.
Brian Kitchen made the tackle on the kickoff return. The Colts on offense for the 4th time in the ballgame. Swing pass right side to Dickerson. Little move to the right side. Cuts back into the 36-yard line. He has 7. It'll be 2nd and 3. Jarvis Williams makes the tackle.
I've always felt that that kind of play should go down as a running play.
It's a long handoff.
It's a long handoff. Right. That's all it is. Just sprint Dickerson out there, and instead of handing him the ball or pitching it to him, just toss it to him. He does know what to do with it.
Oh, yes. Yes, he does. They mark it 2nd and 4. Trudeau to Dickerson again. He's got the first down at the 44. There's Krause with the tackle.
Good pass protection for Trudeau on that play. And Charlie, Chris Hinton, the left tackle, playing with a hamstring injury. You see Dickerson just running a little circle pattern. Nobody home there for the defense as they're a little late getting there. Here's that good protection. Kevin Call also working on the right side with a bad knee. Ben Hutt, Ray Donaldson, and Randy Dixon inside. Call looked at my boots today. He said, "Did Eric give you those?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, Eric gave us all boots after the season last year." He's good to his defensive or offensive lineman. Good play. 91, Jeff Cross. Fine play, right-hand side. Dickerson, very, very deep. Wants as much time as possible as we turn them loose. As much time as possible to read the play. And there you saw 69 Dixon trying to get the hook on Jeff Cross, unable to do it. The tackle had released. Hinton had released to go on the linebacker, but Cross made an excellent play of sliding outside to nail Dickerson.
Did Dickerson give you those boots?
No, he didn't, Charlie. I wish he had.
2nd and 8. Underneath the coverage, first down at the 39-yard line. Bill Brooks, and Krause makes the tackle.
Well, if you had come into this ball game expecting run and run alone from these Colts today, you'd be disappointed. They have been throwing the ball very effectively. Trudeau has shaken off the results of last week, the headache and the neck problems. Puts that one into the hands of Billy Brooks. Another big first down from the running game by the Colts.
And a gain of 15. Trudeau fires. Oh! Should have been, could have been, might have been.
E.J. Jr. had perfect position on the interception and read the ball.
And hit him right in the hands.
Frying pan hands, Charlie. Skillet hands on this one. He'll be teased about this, and he'll remember this so well. Risen, the intended receiver, and Trudeau must not have seen E.J. Jr. He was all over that football.
2nd and 10 at the 39. It's Miami 13, Colts 7. Here's the delayed screen. And Dickerson goes to the 36. Gain of 3, so it's going to be 3rd down and 7. Krause again, he's getting quite a workout. He's a little bit of everywhere for that defense.
Well, John Offerdahl was the man at the bottom of that stack, though. And Offerdahl, who came back in after a holdout early in the year, has now managed to post 56 tackles. One of the hardest working linebackers in the NFL, Charlie. He's an attack kind of linebacker, but he'll be there at the bottom of almost every stack because you just have a hard time fooling him. Great diagnosis, and he gets to the football.
For Dickerson, that is his 7th reception in the game, 7 for 42 yards. His personal record is 8 in a game. And Trudeau wanted to go to him there, and he ran out of time. And there was excellent coverage downfield by Barry Krause on Dickerson.
But who was the man that was all over Trudeau? Number 56, John Offerdahl. Offerdahl coming in quickly from his linebacking position. Actually missed the tackle. Here's Offerdahl. Watch him. Just blitzes inside. Watch this swim move right there on Dixon. An offensive guard used to handling the big man, and Offerdahl side-slipped him. That was a good pass rushing move.
And Ron Stark will be kicking. If you're thinking of a field goal attempt, it would be in the neighborhood of 58 yards. So they'll go with the punt. Just wants to hang this one up. And the fair catch is called for and taken by Jarvis Williams. And he steps out at the 16-yard line. There's a flag down on the far side. An ineligible man downfield.
Yeah, I think maybe I'd take that ball right there, Charlie.
Got it at the 16.
Illegal man downfield on a kicking team. Number 96. 5-yard penalty is declined. First down.
Stark, an excellent kicker. Shula, I think, thinking I'd rather have it there than kicked out on the 2.
We'll be back in a moment. It's a rainy chill factor in Indianapolis was minus 26, so the Colts stayed inside. Head coach Ron Meyer told Merlin that Dan Marino was the hardest quarterback in the NFL to defense. Linebacker Dwayne Bickett said the way to beat Marino is to disrupt his timing. Fred Young told us that last week he was timing his blitz off of the 30-second clock, and Chris Hinton simply wanted to know what we were doing out in the snow. Dan Marino and the Dolphins arrived about noon and worked out in the Hoosier Dome. Crash Jensen showed up in his hot pink cap. Punter Reggie Roby pointed out the overhead speaker that he would like to hit during the game. And Don Shula brought a touch of South Florida to frigid Indiana.
He's not wearing those shorts today, though, Charlie. And I'll tell you, if we were outside, we would all be dressed differently today.
Yes, yes, yes. Saturday snapshots. Miami from their own 16. And Marino's pass is complete as he goes to Fred Banks.
They're saying he's out of bounds.
He has possession, but he only gets 1 foot inbound.
Banks appeared to have room to drop the second foot. You'll see it here. He gets 1 foot cleanly inbounds and looks to start down with a second.
About 4 inches.
The discipline a receiver needs. He needs to feel that sideline. Boy, I tell you, that good call by the official who was right on the ball.
And now on the ball is the center, born in Indianapolis. Jeff Uhlenhake played his collegiate ball at Ohio State. 2nd and 10 from the shotgun. Marino can fire the ball as he goes to the man in the hot pink hat yesterday, Crash Jensen.
Jensen being used as a wide receiver in that situation, along with Mark Logan. And that's one of the things that you have with Jensen and Logan on the field. Great flexibility because both can slip out from the backfield and play those wide receiver positions.
A gain of 14 to the 30 and a first down. 2:52 and counting. Time remaining in the first half.
Sammy Smith deep, much like we saw Dickerson early.
And here's Tom Brown. He has 2, maybe 3 yards on the play. It'll be second down.
Charlie, one of the nice stories on this Colt defense, Chip Banks, who came here on a trade with San Diego and earlier in the year, had been out of football with drug problems, and of course fighting very hard to stay away from those programs or problems now. Outside group sessions 3 or 4 times a week, one-on-one sessions with a therapist. He's playing some excellent football.
2nd and 7, pressure, incomplete. Jensen, the intended receiver, and it was Chip Banks who was coming after him. NFL headlines, Shanahan turned down the Kentucky job to remain with the Broncos. Wiley says Alabama junior Keith McCants will leave school to enter the NFL. Landville, the Oilers play better when opposing teams boo them. Well, that's not exactly true today because they're having their problems in Cincinnati.
Shades of the old Los Angeles and Oakland Raiders who love to be hated.
Cincinnati now leads Houston 28-0 in that ball game, and O.J. and Bob will be updating that story along with the insiders at halftime. And going deep right side to Banks, it's incomplete.
Banks had put a double move on Baylor on the far side and got free, but Marino had to throw the football before the second move and had to guess where he would end up. Thrown a little bit long.
We've had a lot of excitement in the kicking game thus far. Reggie Roby probably still got off a 61-yarder under all kinds of pressure. Scott Schwade's a 70-yard punt return for a touchdown, and now Clarence Verdun will be returning for the Colts.
He'd like to return the favor for the Colts.
Snap is blocked. Picked up. It'll be a touchdown. No, 1-yard line.
Good, number 37, the man who blocked that kick. But again, the bad snap on that play. Brian Kinchin, the man who's gone back in to snap, did not snap for a while because of a bad thumb. And here, that ball, I got to say, Reggie should be able to handle that one more easily. But Chris Good, recognizing his difficulty, right on top of it. And what a great saving tackle by Brown.
Clifford Hobley.
By Hobley, 29.
Clifford Hobley. We've got a timeout. And the crowd has come alive in the Hoosier Dome.
Are you the one who put these away? Oh, yeah. Look at the age you look like. Ready?
Right here, Clifford Hobley trying to block both of these people, and watch the play as it develops. Hobley will make a saving tackle, but not until the bad snap had set up the timing. They simply had overloaded over there, and no one was there to block Good on the outside.
And first down, goal to go just outside of the one, and reaching over the top is Albert Bentley, and he is pushed back. Dickerson, the motion man. Second and goal.
Trying to reach that football out and break the plane of the goal line. And, of course, when you do that, Charlie, you run the risk of having it knocked out of your hand. But he did get a little extra yardage with that maneuver. Good goal line surge by this Miami defense, who are starting with their feet in the end zone. Another one of those, technically not a turnover, but boy, that is a turnover and a huge emotion change. Roby's second block career, not just this year, second career block. And his first one was blocked way back in his rookie year.
7 years ago.
7 years ago. We have had big plays, and you set that up nicely. We've had big plays off the kicking game. Did you know something about that, Charlie?
No, but I did notice that the Colts, they ran the clock down, then they take a timeout. There's a minute and 10 seconds left to go in the first half, so they feel that they're in a great opportunity, but they don't want to give Miami too much time to strike back in the first half.
Now there's the brain trust. Meyer with the headset, Larry Keenan, the offensive coordinator, the quarterback, Strock, the great veteran, so many years at quarterback in Miami, one of Marino and Shula's good friends.
He has a great tan, doesn't he? I don't know how the man has a golf tan, and he lives in Indianapolis in the weather that we've had here recently.
Must sneak away somewhere on Mondays and play a little golf. Either that or he's got a great tanning salon. Talk about Barry Krause on the other side, a longtime Colt, now playing for Miami. Well, there's Strock, a longtime Dolphin, playing for the Colts.
Miami with 3 timeouts, the Colts with 2.
There's Krause on the far side. He's pumped up.
Second and goal to go. Play action fake.
Great fake. Great play action fake. Mark Boyer, the second tight end. The receiver on that particular play. Boyer's second touchdown of the year, Charlie. Oh boy, what great faking by Albert Bentley and by Jack Trudeau to set up that play action pass and the touchdown.
We are now tied at 13. This is to break the tie. Dean Biasucci. Colts have the lead.
Watch the great play-action faking. Pulls everyone inside. Bentley leaping over the top. Offerdahl bought it. So Shea, the man who jumped up and almost got a finger on that ball. But watch Offerdahl. He believes it's a run. They got everyone to bite inside. E.J. Jr. on the left-hand side, and no one to cover Boyer. You see this guy jumping around. Last week after the game that we did here, Charlie, I saw him outside of the tunnel here, and he had lost so much weight. There's no humidity in here. He had sweated off so much of his body weight that he was having horrible cramps. He works very hard on the day.
The upside down man. Is he 66 or 99?
There's Boyer. Well, he knows where he is. He just pocketed another touchdown.
His second of the year. Let's check around the National Football League. Boomer Esiason has thrown 3 touchdown passes against Houston. As you check out the scores for Miami, they can clinch at least a wild card by beating Indianapolis today and Kansas City at home next week. They can win the division title with these 2 victories plus 1 loss by Buffalo. Losses head-to-head ties for division title with Buffalo or Indianapolis.
And, of course, for Indianapolis, it's very simple. They have to win both of their games, and then they need quite a bit of help.
Logan and Hampton are the return men, and Biasucci will kick off. At the 5, Lorenzo Hampton. And he returns in the neighborhood of the 25-yard line. It seems as if almost every drive has started between the 24 and the 27 for both ball clubs.
Except that last one for the
started at the 1.
Yes. About as short a drive as you can get. You sense some real concern in Don Shula. Of course, right here with a minute 1, this is an explosive team under Marino, a team that has always been able to get quick chunks of yardage. You don't expect to see them sit on their hands here, Charlie. They'll come out and take it down the field.
9 of 17 for 102. Out of the pattern, and as to Crash, who is, boy, has he been backwards.
Jensen leveled by Taylor on that play. Good defense.
Hurry-up offense, gain of 6 to the 31. Second down and 4. Working against the clock. All timeouts remaining. Going deep. Has a man wide open, and he overthrows Fred Banks.
You won't see that very often. Dan Marino, one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. Banks had broken out of the coverage. You see him right along the right-hand sideline, and Pryor lugging with every step, trying to get over there. But Marino knows that he blew that one. That's not the receiver. That's a quarterback.
Third down and 4. 37 seconds left first half. Colts lead by 1, 14-13. Again quiet, and now some of the players for the Colts along the sideline, led by Harvey Armstrong, are trying to get the crowd back into the game. The pass is complete to Mark Clayton. That is his first reception. Eugene Daniel was there for the defense. Those of you that have been watching the Cincinnati-Houston game, as you know, Cincinnati is up 28-0 in that ball game. Boomer has thrown 3 touchdown passes. Well, here the score is Indianapolis 14 and Miami 13. We have 30 seconds left in the first half. Both ball clubs with 2 timeouts remaining. Mark Clayton, his first reception of the ball game, has just caught a pass in his 52nd straight game. And Miami has a first down at their own 37-yard line.
Many of the points on the board generated by the special teams. A long punt return by Scott Schwades.
70 yards.
70 yards. Just a few moments ago, a block kick of Reggie Roby's resulted in a touchdown for the Colts. So some huge plays by the special teams here today.
And, of course, we'll have all of those highlights for you during the halftime NFL Live. drive from New York, and when we come back here. Reno going deep to Banks, and it's incomplete.
Trying to pick on John Baylor. Banks, moments ago, broke open down that sideline.
Mark Duper, inactive for this game, out with a groin injury. Now, that's twice that he has overthrown Banks. I'm wondering if he's looking for the speed of Duper out there and has instead the speed of Banks.
Charlie, that's a good question, and one I can't answer. We'll have to ask Marino. But Banks has excellent speed. Probably a step or so short of where Duper would have been, and you might be exactly right. He's used to having the great explosive speed of a Mark Duper on the outside. But that's another Smurf that can pick him up and put him down, too.
2nd and 10. Clayton incomplete. An excellent coverage on Clayton by Chris Good, who just pinned him against the sideline and used the sideline as a second defender. Coming up at halftime, Bob Costas and O.J., all the scores and highlights. A special on Joe Montana's magnificent season. And, of course, Joe Montana will be featured as part of the second half of the doubleheader. And there's our guys, our fearsome foursome. O.J. and Bob and the Insiders, the second half of the doubleheader. Buffalo at the 49ers. Marino, 11 of 22, 114 yards. Those are not Marino numbers. 3rd down and 10. He's throwing this one away. Well chased by the Colt defense. 13 seconds left in the first half. It'll be 4th down. And the last time that Reggie Roby kicked, it was a disaster for Miami.
It was a bad snap. Laid up in front of him.
And Brian Kitchen, the new father, wife Lori, baby boy Austin Jake, 7 pounds 5 ounces, born on Thursday. He'll be snapping again. And Clarence Verdun is the return man. Let's go, Stanley! Good snap. Oh, great kick. And this one hits at the 8, and it will take a Miami bounce and will be down at the 12-yard line.
They were coming again.
Yes.
They had people coming hard off the right-hand side offensively.
And we have 1 second there. 1 second left. A change of possession. And so the Colts will have one opportunity.
You'll get a chance to see it. Watch the right-hand side of your screen as they're bringing a hard rush. Roby with time. Boy, they came pretty close. That's Taylor in there again. A 51-yard kick. And Roby responds after having one blocked, and that's what you expect the good players to do, the great players to do. They come back after the bad play with an even better play.
With this field position, their own 12-yard line, 1 second, and the lead of 14-13, I suspect the Colts will just down the ball. I said that in another ball game, another Miami ball game, and I was wrong, but I'm right on this one. That was a Denver ball game. No, they'll win this one. The gun sounds. The Colts struggling in the first half. They make the big play. They have the lead, 14-13 at the half. In a first half of big plays, none bigger for the Colts than this. Chris Good coming for the right side, number 37, blocks the punt of Reggie Roby, and then he recovers it. Clifford Hobley saves the touchdown, but the Colts go on in to score, and they lead by 1 at the half, 14-13 over Miami.
If I had a Nissan 240S...
Built for the human race. Stay tuned for NFL Live after these messages from your local station. Tonight, the joyous holiday classic returns, Mickey's Christmas Carol. Plus, join the Little Mermaid and see how the Disney magic is made. Then how would you describe Ann Jillian's first big date?
Very funny.
And the holiday spirit continues when Sister Kate goes to jail.
I can explain.
Tonight.
According to Car and Driver, there's one car that actually improves with age. After 30,000 miles, this car accelerated quicker. drove faster, and stopped more impressively than the day it was new. The BMW 3 Series. Other cars get worse as they get older. This one gets better.
Contact your South Florida BMW dealers for a thorough test drive.
Loaded with features. Built for speed. And with full-range autofocus, it can stop on a dime. The newest VHS camcorder from JVC. We just made recorded history. Again. Once you consider the complications of other camcorders, the best plug for JVC is no plug at all. It fits right in your VHS VCR. JVC. We just made recorded history. Again.
Michael Jackson's home movie.
Welcome those of you watching the Miami-Indianapolis game. Bob Costa's back in New York. Our time in this segment is short. Let's run quickly through all the scores. Cincinnati is pounding Houston 28-0. Still about 5 minutes to play until halftime in this game. Boomer Esiason has thrown 3 touchdown passes. David Fulcher, having a great year in the secondary for the Bengals, has an interception and a recovered fumble. There have been 3 Houston turnovers, 2 fumbles, and an INT. Mike Rozier just fumbled at the Cincinnati 1 into the end zone. The Bengals picked it up. That killed a Houston scoring chance. The Bengals will stay alive in the playoff chase, it appears, and Houston will be forestalled, at least for a week, in their bid to clinch the AFC Central, barring a miracle comeback today. The Bengals lead 28-0. Minnesota on a 45-yard field goal by Rich Carlis shortly before halftime leads in frigid Cleveland, 10 degrees at game time, wind chill -10. 3-0 the score there as Minnesota closes in on the championship in the NFC Central. Green Bay playing at Chicago, also very chilly there. Game time temperature at Soldier Field, 10 degrees. 24-14 the halftime score. Don Mikowski has thrown a touchdown pass, run for another. Keith Woodside has a 68-yard scoring run for the Packers. Neil Anderson doing his best for the Bears. Caught a touchdown pass, carried 5 times in the first half for a total of 87 yards. In the game you're watching, Indianapolis, after spotting Miami an early lead, taking the lead at halftime, 14-13. The block punt was key, leading to the Jack Trudeau flip of 1 yard to Mark Boyer to give them the lead. Earlier, Scott Schwades with the 70-yard punt return for the Dolphins, who are in the playoffs, at least as a wild card, if they win their last 2, and of course still have a shot at the championship in the AFC East, depending upon what happens in the last 2 weeks to the Buffalo Bills. Kansas City at Arrowhead. They are arguably the hottest team in the National Football League, with the possible exception of San Francisco. KC has won 3 in a row, and they're 4-1-1 since mid-season. On a Steve DeBerg 11-yard touchdown pass to Todd McNair moments ago, they've upped their lead over San Diego to 13-0. The Chargers have turned the ball over 3 times. Pittsburgh leading at home over New England 14-3. Steelers have a slim wild card chance, but almost everything has to break their way. They need lots of help elsewhere. Detroit closing the season with a rush. They've won 3 in a row and 4 of their last 5. It's not out of the question that they could pass the Bears and dump Chicago to the basement of the NFC Central before the year is over. 24-0 at home against Tampa Bay. Bob Galliano with a pair of touchdown passes, including a 55-yarder to Jason Phillips. Barry Sanders a 4-yard scoring run, better than 80 yards on the ground in the first half. Now, we step aside, and when we come back, O.J. takes a look at the marvelous year Joe Montana is having out in San Francisco for the 49ers. We do it after these messages from your local station.
He's ruthless and cunning. Get him out of my sight.
Okay, welcome back to our NFL Live studios in New York. As we told you earlier, Joe Montana will not start for the 49ers today against Buffalo. Still, that doesn't do anything to diminish the year he's having, possibly the best ever in the NFL. A look at the current quarterback rating shows that Montana is in a class by himself, giving renewed meaning to the word greatness. Here's O.J. now with more on Joe Montana.
Webster defines it as being uncommonly gifted. Ali put it in his own words.
I am the greatest.
Gretzky added it to his signature.
Wayne Gretzky, the great one, has become the greatest of them all.
In 1989, Joe Montana may bring it to a new level. He is in the midst of a career year and a career marked by greatness. With 3 Super Bowl wins on his resume and the comeback victory as his personal trademark, Montana is on a pace to eclipse both the single-season quarterback rating record held by the Browns' Milt Plum in 1960 and the completion percentage standard set by the Bengals' Ken Anderson. Already the career leader in both categories, Montana remains focused on the thing that brought him to this level.
The more important thing is winning, and I think when your team's doing well and you're winning, those kind of things just kind of go hand in hand with it.
He really has an enthusiasm for the game and loves to play, and it's still a game for him. And I think that's one of the secrets to success.
He's got a young man in him that just likes to play games, and so it hasn't got an old hat to him.
Old hat to Joe Montana means performance under pressure. That, combined with a few playbook modifications and a more balanced pass attack, equals higher efficiency in 1989.
We went into training camp this year thinking that two things. One, we had to take a little heat off Jerry and take a little heat off Roger. And with the idea of getting the ball to tight end some more, getting the ball to Tom Rathman, who is a good pass receiver, and we've done that.
I think it's more challenging for Joe Montana now that, how people are, downplaying him, saying that, he's over the hill and the back injury, and things like that. I think he's right now in the point of his career that every time he steps out and feels a challenge for him to try to win ball games.
He's trying to prove to himself that he's the best quarterback in the league. He's been in the league 10 years, and there's no one out there better.
I don't have the strongest arm, and I don't have the greatest speed in getting around, but I always felt that I could do enough to get the job done and be able to win, and I think that's what I've been successful at.
Successful, to put it mildly. In your view, what's the one quality, the single most important quality that sets him apart?
I think basically with Joe is that he enjoys playing football. He enjoys the challenge of the game.
Colts win here, and next week they still need some help to make the playoffs.
Charlie, just glancing back at this first half, not many surprises except for the fact that Miami trying to run the ball more and the Colts trying to pass the ball more. But the main players in that first half, the same people we expected, Marino and Dickerson. Their numbers, a little bit interesting. Marino's numbers, not nearly as big as you would expect of a Dan Marino. 11 for 23, 114 yards. Dickerson, on the other hand, a bit of a surprise for him. You see him on the sideline getting ready. He's had more yards rushing and more opportunities catching the ball. More opportunities catching and more yardage catching than he has rushing. No touchdowns so far.
The halftime statistics are brought to you by Coors. And they're pretty even across the board. The big plays, as we have touched on in the first half, the big elements of the first half. And right after the kickoff, we'll be recapping those big plays for you, as the Colts will be receiving. And James Pruitt is back, along with Albert Bentley. Bentley on the left, Pruitt on the right. Stoyanovich to kick off. The second half is underway. The Colts lead it by 1, 14-13. Bentley from the 5. The 20. And he returns to the 27 or the 28-yard line. Let's go back to the two key plays of the first half.
Schwade's catching a short kick from Stark, explodes and finds plenty of room. No one home there for the Colts as he streaks downfield 70 yards for the touchdown. But the Colts respond with a big special teams of their play of their own. Chris Good from the right-hand side, streaking in, a low snap. Roby is slow. They save the touchdown here, but punch it in with a pass moments later.
The ball spotted at the 28-yard line. And Trudeau comes out throwing. And the pass is complete to Bentley at the 32. Slips a couple of tackles. Good continuing effort to the 36-yard line. He has 8 before E.J. Jr. brings him down. It'll be second and a pair.
I asked Bentley yesterday, I said, would you rather catch the ball or run it? He said, I'd rather run the football, but hey, man, I don't care. Just get it into my hands. He's been effective today. Almost a forgotten man back in '88. He has been very important in the plans of the Colts today.
Second down and a couple. Trudeau showing no effects of that concussion from last week, on target to Brooks. Brooks to the 40, and then a head fake inside. He goes outside. Hobley was chasing him.
started off the day talking about the importance of balance and dimension. With Dickerson in the backfield, you've got to load for the run. And then Trudeau unloads with the pass. Brooks looked like he was covered by Offerdahl from the inside, or someone else had dropped the coverage because Offerdahl was closer than anyone else. And Brooks picks up a big one. They're down, threatening again.
30 yards on the play to the Miami 34-yard line, first down. Receivers out. Trudeau has plenty of time, comes back underneath the coverage, and he comes to Bill Brooks. Offerdahl spins him down.
The Miami Dolphins had done a good job of pressuring quarterbacks early in the year and came back with a big sack game last week against New England, but they have not put a lot of heat on Trudeau here today. You see Offerdahl taking the signal from the sideline from Tom Olivadotti, and I'm sure Tom pulling out his hair. This defense played probably its best overall game in several years last week against New England, but they have got the pressure on them right here.
2nd and 4. It's complete.
James Pruitt, Charlie, and there's the Miami Dolphin who wants to stick it in the face of his ex-teammates.
14 yards to the 14.
You're sitting in your living room at home, he might end up on your lap here. Good tight spiral, and Pruitt reaching back for that pass as he had to spin to catch it.
And not only did he spin to catch it, he was spinning the ball when he came up. And we have seen flags on that for taunting this year. It was not dropped here. It's a first down at the 14. That is something as a player you simply cannot afford to take that chance.
Referee's discretion.
Over the middle, deep, incomplete.
And they're going to
call the flag. Flag is there, yes. Pruitt.
Paul Langford, number 44, grabbed Pruitt just before that football arrived. They're blitzing. They got the heat on Trudeau. Trudeau gets this pass off. Watch right at the end there. As Langford wraps his arms around Pruitt, and Pruitt comes up celebrating the yellow flags. They'll put it down on the 1-yard line.
First down.
First down and goal to go. The Colts lead by 1.
Pruitt had 2 catches going into this game. He's got 2 almost back-to-back in this drive.
Dickerson leans and gets it. Go 72 yards on the opening drive in 6 plays. It's good.
The Colts have done a great job of mixing their plays. The last time they were down here, play action pass to score. And on this down, Dickerson motoring his way into the end zone.
Flag down. Extra point is good. Penalty will be assessed on the kick. And we have a timeout. It's officially Colts 21, Dolphins 13. Back with the kickoff in a moment.
It's the right here now, but not now. It's the right here now, but definitely not now.
ABC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Coors Light, pure brewed in the Rockies. The silver bullet won't slow you down. It's the right beer now. By Radio Shack, the technology store, America's leader in consumer electronics. And by today's Chevrolet, who invites you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
format has very attractive helpers here in the Hoosier Dome. The Colts 21, the Dolphins 13, and Dean Biasucci will be kicking off the opening drive, taking just under 2.5 minutes of the second half. Logan and Hampton are the return men. Down it in the end zone. Let's go back to the touchdown.
Got a fight on the field. Let's go back. Dickerson running up between Donaldson and Dixon. He'll be met by Barry Krause right here. But his old teammate isn't a match for Dickerson on this play. Krause will take the block on, take Dickerson on, but Dickerson's strength wins out in that battle, and he lugs it into the end zone. First down at their own 20. Trailing 21-13. Marino throws, pass is complete, right side for about 9 yards. Sammy Smith, the receiver. That is only the fifth reception on the year. And there's Evan Byard, the governor of Indiana, who is looking on. He's in Mr. Irsay's box. Mr. Irsay is back around the corner. Watching from slightly out of our range. Watching and worrying, yes. Watching and being very pleased at the moment with his team ahead 21-13. Second down and 2. And Smith slips the tackle. The stiff arm does not get to the 30. It'll be shy of the first down. Wayne Bickett, number 50. One of those linebackers that you hate to run into as a running back, really put the stops. This is a good move by Sammy Smith. Watch the quick motoring to the outside. Looks like Dickerson here, but now he's got to turn it back up, and here comes Bickett. And in that one-on-one matchup, Dwayne Bickett is going to win the battle. A 250-pounder at 6'5", he'll unload on you. Those outside, pass is complete. Andre Brown has the reception and the first down. Marino makes it look so easy. 3rd and 1, he just fires it out for 8-9 yards. Charlie, the kind of confidence that Miami has in Marino and in the passing game. 3rd and 1, you throw the football and you complete it, and you picked up at the first down right there. Marino expected to respond as he has throughout his career to that touchdown by the Colts. Begins to move the Dolphins down toward the goal line. First down Miami, their own 39. Miami 13, the Colts 21. Screen, right side, drop. Mark Logan dropped it. Let's check around the National Football League. Cincinnati is just blowing away Houston. Minnesota and Cleveland are close. Green Bay leading Chicago. Kansas City in front of San Diego at the half. Pittsburgh leading, and Detroit shutting out Tampa Bay. And here in the Hoosier Dome with 10:53 left in the third, it's Miami 13, the Colts 21. From the inside, the pass is complete. Reaching out is Jim Jensen. He'll be just short. We'll have another 3rd and short. Watching from behind, and Jim Jensen, we've seen him split out a number of times today as a wide receiver, but here he comes from the backfield. He'll dive up inside, gets past John Hand, and then just breaks to the outside. Now watch him lean up inside as they sweep across from the inside to try and get a little extra yardage. See him reaching out with that football, Charlie? A man who knows how to milk every bit he can out of that reception. If he doesn't get the full reach, it's 3rd down and 1. 3rd and a half, technically. Slashing style of Mark Logan in the first down. And you
compared earlier the styles of the two running backs in Miami.
Logan, who had a particularly effective week last week, very quick to pop into that hole. And if you don't get a hand on him, he also runs with some power, and it can explode out of there. Sammy Smith, more of a power back. He'll come in there and grind on you, a little bit like Dickerson. You see them alternating those two. It's difficult to adjust to changing tempos by those backs.
Smith and Tom Brown usually in on first down. Then you see Logan and Jensen in on second and third. Goes deep. Banks is there. It's over the wrong shoulder. He looked to the right. The toss was to the left. And Fred Banks has been a step away from 3 touchdowns.
He's had several opportunities when he's beaten the coverage. And he and Marino just not communicating as well in those downfield patterns as you would expect them to. Banks in for Duper today, and that little look to the outside may have cost him an opportunity to catch that ball. But, of course, the ball may have been in the air early. Marino has time. Banks there a little bit late.
Ooh, that is late.
Boy, I tell you, that is the kind that you really would go over there and talk to Banks about if you're a quarterback. Right in the back of the legs of Dan Marino.
Marino, 14 of 28, 131 yards. Second down. Marino, good protection, fires deep over the middle, and it is incomplete. Farrell Edmonds, the tight end, drawing a sliding reception. The ball popped out. It's going to be third down and 10.
Farrell Edmonds has trouble with those low passes. Very, very long-legged receiver.
With Mark Duper out of the ball game with a groin injury, as you take another look at this, the Colts are taking Mark Clayton completely out of the ball game. They're saying if you're going to beat us, you got to do it somewhere else.
That's exactly right, Charlie. And that ball, as you see, thrown low, but he has to throw it. Marino will throw it that way when the defenders are behind the receiver. And Edmonds has got to come up with that catch. There's Clayton. They have done a great job on him today, doubling him all day long.
Deep, Banks far side, and he drops it. He made 2 good moves and couldn't hold on to it.
Charlie, I think you'll see John Baylor's hand inside on the arm of Banks right at the end of this play. Watch Baylor reach back inside. Banks has his hand on it right there. The hand goes in, and you see him strip that hand away. That's great play.
No, that's great eyes. You got the greatest eyes in the world. That's happening 100 yards away from us. Now the excitement of the kicking game.
Heart-stopping day for Brad Seeley and Mike Westhoff, the 2 special teams coaches.
Now, Mike Pryor was back as the return man. In reality, he was back to fair catch if necessary. Meanwhile, the Dolphin coverage team almost downing it, but not quite. We have a touchback. We'll bring it out to the 20.
We asked Mike Schmidt to help us show you why the new half-ton Chevy work truck is better than...
Welcome back to the Hoosier Dome. Jack Trudeau has completed 17 of 25 for 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. He has hit his last 6 in a row. On that last 72-yard touchdown drive, he was 4 of 4 for 58 of the 72 yards. He's got the hot hand here in the second half.
Not bad for a running team.
Play action fake. Bentley incomplete. It'll be second down. Let's compare the 2 quarterbacks. Marino 14 of 30, 141. Trudeau 17 of 25, 151. No touchdowns for Marino and 2 for Trudeau.
Certainly not indicative of the career records or even the seasonal averages of these 2 teams, but Trudeau, maybe he's responding to that hit last week, Charlie. Maybe he's changed.
For those of you that don't know,
his bad habits.
He got sandwiched last week. A concussion, was out of the ballgame, taken to the hospital. The game went into overtime. He was getting updates in the emergency room from the doctors of the ballgame that the Colts won in overtime over Cleveland. Dickerson shut up inside, jumps outside, slides out to the 25. Third down and 5. Krause with the tackle.
Well, you saw Krause and Dickerson mauling each other down on the goal line. A battle that Dickerson won moments ago to score. Krause right back with a tackle here. Oh, I tell you, he's a smart linebacker. He'll give you everything he has, Charlie.
Third down and 5. Bryson comes wide to this side. reception.
Tip by Rodney Thomas, who's starting in there in place of William Judson. It's Thomas who will knock the ball in the air, number 24. You'll see him coming across right there. Number 24 sticks that hand in and bats it up. And Lewis Oliver finally able to get that arm up with that shoulder injury. But he was right in the right spot. Pulls it down. There's Oliver accepting congratulations from Tom Olivadotti, the defensive coordinator, and Marino in position here to put his team back close in this ball game.
First turnover of the game. First down at the Colts 23. And here is Sammy Smith. To the 20, maybe just across the 20. It'll be second down. And John Hand was there.
Both of these teams, in terms of plays called, acting like a pitcher throwing curveballs or throwing the hanger for people. What do they got?
Off speed, yes.
I think expecting the pass from Marino, they're getting a run from Smith. And of course, a little earlier, as we expected to see the run from Dickerson, we've gotten the pass. Let's see how they're trying to cover Dickerson. Clayton, Charlie.
And they've shut him down. Hogan back to the line of scrimmage, and that is all. It'll be third down and 7.
In talking to Dan Marino about defenses, people traditionally play this Miami offense different than they play other people. He said in the earlier game this year, they were rotating their defense to Clayton, no matter where he went. He said, we hadn't seen them do that before this year. We haven't seen them do it since that time. They'll roll one man up, nose-to-nose with Clayton, and then double him with someone else behind.
And Mark Clayton has 1 reception for 6 yards. He has 1 rush for -1 yard on a reverse. 3rd and 7. And the play has been blown dead. A flag, and that usually means a false start. And that's the call against Miami.
False start, number 61, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
On Roy Foster. It'll be 3rd and 12. The penalties, Miami 6 for 45. The Colts only 1 for 5.
Boy, this would be a big play for this Indianapolis defense. They can shut them down after that turnover, put Marino in such good field position.
Marino over the middle. It is incomplete. Schwade's the intended receiver. And Crash Jensen is slow to get up. That may be just disappointment. And the Dolphins will go with a field goal attempt.
Well, they need the field goal anyway, Charlie. 8-point difference means that there's going to have to be a field goal in there somewhere, but they certainly would rather have had the TD.
Stoyanovich is hit from 43 and 47. This is from 44. Almost blocked. It is no good. To the right.
Eugene Daniel putting the heat on, and I've got to believe that Stoyanovich felt him coming in from the left-hand side. He simply pushed that ball a little bit. You'll see the pressure coming from the left-hand side of your screen. Stoyanovich, feeling that, did not get a clean follow-through. The ball stayed out to the right.
The score remains 21-13.
You still have time to get in on Chevrolet's last great deals of the decade with cash back on our best sellers, Corsica, and on the roomy Lumina sedan.
And more great deals on select Geos, the new line of import-inspired cars.
And to make these deals better, GMAC offers a plan with no payments for 90 days.
This is Charlie Jones, Merlin Olsen in the Hoosier Dome. The Colts leading the Novice 21-13. 6:20 is the time remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Colts have the ball at their own 26-yard line. Trudeau with all the time in the world. It is dropped, broken up.
Did he have possession? They're saying no.
Good good defensive play. The pass was right on target.
Again, I think this defense expecting the running game, expecting them to try and run the football. They go back to Pruitt. Pruitt bouncing that ball. No, he did not have control of the football as it's broken loose by Thomas, number 24.
Rodney Thomas, the right corner, drawing that starting assignment for William Judson, who's in the hospital with those blood clots in his calf. And is watching the ball game, and I'm sure is going up and down with his emotional stepladder. Second down and 10. Screen, left side. Dickerson. And that stiff arm with that ball in the left hand still manages to struggle for an extra 2 or 3 yards.
One of the great weapons that Dickerson has to match up with his strength and his speed. He'll watch him tuck the ball and then come back with that arm right there. Bam! Right to the face of Barry Krause. And that's the one time that a player can legally go to that face, Charlie. They don't call him for that.
And notice what he did. When he was hit originally, he did not have the first down. He still picked up almost 4 yards and got the first down.
Amazing back. Look at those receptions.
Those are receiving numbers.
Well, this is a running back. That's the most he's ever caught in a game. And he caught another one.
Langford with the tackle.
When Eric Dickerson came out of SMU, he really was not a good pass catcher. He had Ron Meyer as a coach down there at Southern Methodist, and he was used as a runner down there along with Craig James, a Pony Express backfield. When he went to L.A., he wanted to learn to catch the football, and they gave him plenty of opportunities. He came here to the Colts as a polished pass receiver, and they're giving him a lot of chances today.
You saw the 9 receptions, a career high. Now put this in perspective. Only 19 receptions this season to the kickoff of this ballgame. Second down and a couple. Here's Brooks. And Bill has the first down at the 45 of Miami. Let's check around the other scores, and remember to take a look at Cleveland and Kansas City and see what they are doing, because they have an effect on the Colts. Should the Colts go ahead and win, they need to win next week, and they need help in those 2 ball games.
Also a very great impact on Indianapolis. If they should win today, they're looking at some of the same kind of scenario. They need to win the next 2 and get some help if they are going to make it into the playoffs as well.
Down at the 45. And here's Dickerson carrying the ball to the 38. 7 yards, second down and 3. Louis Oliver with the tackle. Oliver has the only interception of the ball game. Had it a moment ago. They're unable to convert any points on it, Marlon.
Charlie, I'm impressed with the play calling by the Colts. I think they have really done a good job of keeping this Dolphin defense off balance, and Trudeau just doing a marvelous job here today, getting the football with time to throw. I think it's critical to say that. Miami not able to get any heat on it.
In a way, it's like looking like the mirror offense of the Dolphins, as much as the Colts are throwing the ball.
They still got the hammer back there at Dickerson.
And here's the hammer.
Good play. Dolphin defense right there. Lifford Hobley, and was that E.J. Jr., 54, on the bottom of that stack? No. Offerdahl, number 56. You get a sense of how they have missed John Offerdahl early in this year as you watch him in great pursuit, inside out. Look at that play. Stretching to grab Dickerson by the back of the jersey. A little help from Lifford Hobley. Great play.
How hard is it for a defensive lineman or linebacker to bring down a running back with just one hand on the jersey?
Well, let me tell you this. You'd appreciate the strength in John Offerdahl's hands after that kind of play. I think that's a part of the strength that is often overlooked in football players.
3rd and 6 from the shotgun.
Too much time.
Trudeau. He's got the first down. He needed 6, and he got 6.5. This is one tough quarterback. Last week he came out with a shoulder injury, and then he came out with a concussion, and now he does this.
He doesn't slide either. He sells out. Trudeau going for it all. Picks up the first down.
Dickerson. And he will slide to the 32. Has a couple. It'll be second down and 8. Rodney Thomas with the tackle. The time, 2:11 and counting. Time remaining in the third quarter. The Colts 21, the Dolphins 13.
This is the kind of drive that we have usually seen the Colts driving with on the ground. But look at what they have done today. They have run the ball 13 times. And you said it earlier, those are Miami numbers.
Right, they really are.
They continue to throw the football and throw it effectively.
Second and 8. Timing pattern, and it is incomplete. James Pruitt, the intended receiver.
Charlie, we've talked several times about the blow that Trudeau took in that game against Cleveland last week. Much of our audience joined us late. Watch the play. Bubba Baker left side, and right there, Clay Matthews, the sandwich. Trudeau out. Spent the next hours in the emergency room getting reports at the hospital. Stiff neck, headaches, blurred vision early in the week, and he has come back to perhaps have his finest day as a quarterback. It's the best I've ever seen him play.
And it's third down and 8, and he wants to take a timeout to talk it over with his head coach. We'll be back in just a moment.
If you don't want to slow down on your way to the top, because you know to make a beer as refreshing as a...
Back to the Hoosier Dome a moment ago, you saw the difference in the mix of the plays for the Colts. And they are throwing almost 3-to-1 of what they're running. Now, what is this mix doing to the Miami defense?
Charlie, if you're a defensive player out there for Miami right now, you still look back there, you see Dickerson, you have to respect his talent. But you can't ignore Trudeau. And the more Trudeau throws, the more you say, he's got to go back to Dickerson. But he doesn't. He keeps throwing the football. So they're getting that great mix. They've kept the Miami defense off balance, and they've gotten good performance, not only from that line in protection, but also from their receivers, and especially from Trudeau.
And it's third down and 8 from the 32, and here's Dickerson, and he has the first down. Again, he's hit 3 yards before he has the first down.
That's the reason that they can't ignore Dickerson. The minute they do, they hand him the ball, and he hammers through like that to pick up the first down. And I'll say it again. I've never seen a back make more yardage after he is hit than Dickerson. Watch the play develop here. Dickerson's good vision and acceleration get him this far. His strength, power through that tackle, power through that tackle, and he finally ends up about 6 yards beyond where he took the first hit.
Has 9 yards to the 23, first down. Dickerson, there's an opening on the right side, and he finds it to the 9-yard line. First and goal. Lewis Oliver with the tackle. That offensive line for the Colts, when we talked to them yesterday, they said, we stay with our man. We let Eric find the hole.
And he's so good at setting up those blocks, too. This is just a case of Dickerson sensing an opening outside and accelerating to take advantage of that. I talked to him about his hamstring injury. He said he thought he was better last week, took his wrap off, but injured that ham again in the third quarter. He's wearing a tight wrap on that right hamstring there today.
13 seconds and counting, time remaining in the third. The pass is complete at the 4-yard line, and still on his feet and battling is James Pruitt. He goes out of bounds with 2 seconds left in the quarter.
Whenever you've been traded from one team to another, or in Pruitt's case, cut, turned loose, put on waivers, you carry a grudge. The best way to exercise that grudge is to have a great game against the team that turned you loose. Pruitt not doing a bad job on that count today. You see that? He does not want to go to the ground. Pruitt picking up good yardage, second and about 5.
Passing formation. And Dickerson is open underneath. They go to the back of the end zone. It's there. Pruitt. 27-13 with the extra point to come, and with that touchdown, we ran out of time in the quarter. And we have got flags and whistles.
Start, number 73, offense, 5-yard penalty, free kick.
Zephyrus Moss, ball game.
And the Colts put together a 74-yard touchdown drive in 13 plays, and it took 6 minutes and 20 seconds. And the extra point is good.
How sweet it is for James Pruitt. He came into this game with 2 receptions on the season. He has 3 today, capped off by this touchdown catch by Jack Trudeau.
Pruitt, his first touchdown as a Colt, 28-13.
My dream car would be a truck, a Nissan hardbody.
This is Jim Irsay, the Colts Vice President and General Manager. He has to be very pleased as we start the fourth quarter, and the Colts lead the Dolphins 28-13. Trudeau, 3 touchdown passes, a first in his career. Mark Logan and Lorenzo Hampton are the return men for Dean Biasucci, who will be kicking off. Start the fourth quarter. Here's Logan. And he fights his way out to the 23. Let's go back to the touchdown, Merlin.
We saw Andre Rison run the same kind of pattern earlier. They're just going to lead Judson to the outside and then drive into the end zone. It's Pruitt this time, number 86. He'll just start outside and then drive to the back of the end zone, and no one stays with him. Judson, anticipating help deep, did not get it. Lifford Hobley late arriving on the scene, and Pruitt has the 6-pointer.
Total yards, Miami to this point, 3 quarters, only 170 yards. Coming back underneath to Sammy Smith. Close to 10. They're going to mark it down just shy of the 33.
We asked Don Shula about using Sammy Smith as a receiver. He said that's the part he missed in training camp. Had he been in camp, we would have worked him more and more into the passing game because he's a good receiver. He's got a couple of nice passes here today.
Miami now with 179 yards. To give you a comparison, the Colts in 3 quarters, 248 yards of offense. 2nd and 1. Reno is being chased on a screen, and it is intercepted. They were going to Smith. And Fred Young has the interception.
Even the arm strength of Dan Marino couldn't get enough velocity as he is pressed. He has to throw falling back, and Sammy Smith does not come back to the football. You've got to go back to the football, or that's exactly what's going to happen.
The nose tackle, Harvey Armstrong, with a spin move, and the pressure made the play. At the Miami 28, first down Colts. A chance here to put it away. They lead 28-13. Dickerson slides to a tackle. Has 3 to the 25.
You can't arm tackle Eric Dickerson. E.J. Jr. tried and didn't get much in the bargain. Dickerson runs for good yardage, 2nd and about 6.
And look at those totals. That's 130 yards of offense for Eric. Second down and 7, and again the Colts will work on that clock as Fred Young smiles.
look at those numbers, 277 rushes, over 1,000 yards. You say, what a great year for a running back to have. Those were Dickerson's numbers coming into today. They'll be even bigger. But look at what Eric Dickerson is compared against. His numbers from '84, when he went over 2,000 yards and broke O.J. Simpson's record to set the modern-day rushing record.
Dickerson compared to Dickerson, Marino compared to Marino. First down, inside the 17. Classic Dickerson.
Well, and you understand now why you can't afford to ignore him even when the Colts are throwing the football. Dimension. When you have a runner like Dickerson, he makes everything else better for you. Not bad to watch either.
No, isn't he? He is a pleasure to watch. Quick check of the scores. Remember now, Indianapolis needs 2 wins and help. And now with Miami losing, if they lose here, they need a win. Now all of a sudden, they need help.
Lots of first aid.
Yes. Bandages everywhere. Dickerson. 4 yards to the 5. It'll be first down and goal to go.
Well, what the Miami Dolphins need now is a turnover, Charlie. They need to take it away. Olivadotti on the sideline next to Shula, wondering where that highly emotional and effective defense that played for him last week has gone today. But I think, Charlie, if you're going to give credit here, let's give it to that offense for the Colts. They have been most impressive.
The eyes.
Hell, that lock. Those eyes will burn a hole in you.
Always moving, always looking, always absorbing like a computer. Second down and goal to go. We talked about the other teams watching, these teams also watching the scores of other games. Somebody else that is watching, the Buffalo Bills, second half of the doubleheader on NBC. They play the 49ers.
They still have things in their hands.
Yes.
Even if they were to end up in a tie with Miami, their 2 wins head-to-head would put them out in the head of the Miami Dolphins. And, of course, they're a full game ahead of Indianapolis going into this ball game.
Crash Jensen looks on.
He's reflecting the mood of that full Miami Dolphins sideline.
In this drive, Dickerson 5 carries, 28 yards. Here's the reverse. And it'll lose 3.
Not a well-executed play. Much too obvious. The timing just not there. As Brooks was slow arriving, and Trudeau had to wait for him. Brooks trying to do everything he could with a little toe dance here at the end. See how long it took Brooks to arrive? Hugh Green not fooled at all. Although Brooks did get away from Green, but he found himself facing a number of other Miami Dolphins.
But Green made him come back inside where there was help.
You've got to contain. That was Hugh Green's job, and he did it well.
Third down, goal to go at the 6.
Well, they've run it 4 or 5 times in a row, but here they'll go to the pass. Too much time again, and touchdown again.
Yes.
No pass rush, Miami Dolphins, and they're burned again. The 4th touchdown pass by Jack Trudeau.
This one to Albert Bentley. Yards on the drive that was set up by Fred Young's interception. A bad snap. The extra point is still good, and that makes it 35-13. The Colts leading the Dolphins. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Cosby's Keisha Knight fully at
celebration, the wave from Albert Bentley. Played his collegiate ball in Miami.
mentioned the conversation with him earlier. He said he would rather carry the football. Maybe right at this moment, having caught a touchdown pass. No, it doesn't matter. Just give me that ball.
Give me the ball.
Which was what he said this morning. He said, just get me the football. I don't care how you get it to me.
And Jack Trudeau accepting congratulations from Don Strout. 4 touchdown passes, his personal all-time record. Now Dean Biasucci will kick off either Mark Logan or Lorenzo Hampton. And it'll be Logan at the 1. And returned out across the 25 around the 27-yard line, maybe the 26. Let's go back to the touchdown.
Albert Bentley right here just drops inside and comes right down the line. And it's Jarvis Williams, number 26, that gets lost in the shuffle. Williams coming down the line with him, but about a step and a half late. But again, credit the offensive line. All the time in the world for Jack Trudeau.
And Miami now, they need a miracle from Marino. 3 touchdowns and a field goal. But more than that, they need something now, a big play, an inspiration to get them started. On their own 26. Knocked out of his hands, it's a fumble. Colts have it. John Hand and Sam Clancy were there. Young's interception, the fumble recovery, second turnover.
Marino, that ball by John Hand right here. John Hand reaching back right there, slapping it out of his hand. Marino looking for the football. No chance to find it inside.
The big play, well, the Colts got the big play. They've got a first down at the Miami 18, 9:12 time remaining. And here's Dickerson with a big hole. To the 9.
That's what the running game gives you, an opportunity when you're ahead to take charge of the game and take charge of the clock, to wind it down with the running game, to keep Dan Marino on the sideline.
An update on the Cincinnati-Houston score. Eric Bell just scored. It is Cincinnati 52 and Houston nothing, with 4:21 to go in the third. 52-0.
Charlie, look at that number. 17, or minus 17 in the differential for the Dolphins as they continue to be burned by the giveaways, and they simply have not gotten the takeaways on the day.
Dickerson with a stutter step. He's to the 4. It'll be first down and goal to go. The Dolphins' only takeaway was Louis Oliver's interception. Dickerson now 19 carries, 103 yards rushing. His 6th 100-yard game, his 58th on his career, and that ties Jim Brown in that category.
Those are the worst turnover numbers that Don Shula has ever faced this late in the season. His teams really have done a good job of hanging on to the football, but not so during 1989. They've been prone to fumble, and they've been prone to interceptions.
A yard. Second down. Goal to go, and the clock goes tick. Tock. Tick.
Is that exactly the way it went?
Well, I'm trying to do it with it. I'm a little out of sync.
Well, we know this. It's running down.
Yes,
and time is running out on these Miami Dolphins, who came in here off a big victory against New England last week, feeling that they still were very much in charge, needing to win today, needing to win in their finale next week, guaranteed them of a playoff berth.
At home against Kansas City, a very tough ball club in the second half of the season. And the Colts will be at New Orleans. Dickerson dives over the top. He's got the touchdown. His second of the day, his 8th of the year. Masucci to add one more point.
Boy, that's two great holds by Stark.
Eric the Great. Oh, it tippers are.
You knew this was going to happen.
Fistful of face masks. They both have face masks.
Kevin the Creature calls saying, you can't grab my mask.
There's an ejection.
92. Griggs, the linebacker. David, smart football.
The frustration of a playoff-type game.
Well, with the frustration of a score that has suddenly gone sour on you. From a 14-13 half to a 42-13 position here in the fourth quarter.
And we await Howard Rowe.
Personal foul, offense. We got personal foul on defense. We got ejection, 92, Miami.
And the score, the Colts 42, the Dolphins 13.
I got some more party time tips for you from Extra Gold Draft. First, never party with anything less than the full tilt taste of Extra Gold. Hey, this is one tough beer. Another tip, never shoot pool with a guy that brings his own stick. And never ever shoot with a guy that brings his own table.
Ask for an extra. Go for the full tilt taste.
Nice shot. Thanks.
Another Pontiac First is ready for delivery. The first four-door version of Grand Prix style and performance. The new Grand Prix Sports Sedan. You've got to drive it.
Get on the Pontiac and ride!
The exciting new...
Your local Pontiac dealer. We build excitement. By Black & Decker. Quality tools that go at the top of everyone's gift list. And by Coors. Enjoy the original taste of Coors, the Rocky Mountain legend.
Welcome back to the Hoosier Dome. Mark Logan, number 20, Lorenzo Hampton, number 27, are the deep backs to return the kickoff of Dean Biasucci. And the numbers, these are the ones that count. All the rest are numbers that you paint the picture by. Mark Logan from the 6. To the 20 to the 22. Let's take an overall look at the playoff picture. First of all, those that have qualified. Denver, San Francisco, they both have home field advantage as long as they're in it. The Giants got into it yesterday. Controlling your own destiny. Now, that's changed just a bit. Buffalo, Houston, the Raiders, Philadelphia Rams, Minnesota. Now, originally, as we go to the next one, needing help, we have Miami was in there. Well, Miami's going to slide back to needing help along with the Colts, Cleveland, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Seattle, Washington, and Green Bay. And those that are looking forward to the next decade, Phoenix, Detroit, New Orleans, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, the Jets, New England, San Diego, Dallas, and Chicago. And a new quarterback, Scott Secules, is in for the Dolphins. And a screen that is low, follow, but Logan hangs on to it and comes out to the 28-yard line.
Decision by Don Shula that they are indeed out of it.
He's thrown in the towel.
I think he's thrown in the towel. Let's look at one of the nails that have been driven into the coffin here today, and it certainly has been true all year. Turnover impact. Oops, we'll get back to it. Secules going with a quick count.
Sideline pass complete.
That'll kill the clock and give us a chance to look at that takeaway penalty of effect of the takeaways and giveaways. The Dolphins have only scored 37 points on their takeaways. They've given up 119 on their giveaways, including that touchdown by Dickerson moments ago. Now, the numbers for the Colts have improved substantially in the last 2 weeks. 81 points that they've gained on takeaways, 51 that they've lost. They're a plus 30 in that department, and many of those big touchdowns have come in the last 2 weeks and been critical to their victory against Cleveland and their victory here today against Miami.
First down at the 40. Sequels goes deep, and he overthrows the intended receiver, who is Andre Brown. The effect, we'll check the ticker as you look around the scores of the other games. The effect, good lands, 52-0. That just jumps out at you. The effect of the second-string quarterback.
I think it's a little late for anyone to have a giant effect for the Miami Dolphins, but I think you'll see things soften up a little bit for this defense.
Is there a letdown from a defensive standpoint? San Diego leading Kansas City. Is there a letdown from the defense?
I think there is.
The main man out?
I think there is, Charlie. You've sent one of the great quarterbacks of all time to the bench. You now have a replacement you know little about. A guy with a broken thumb on his left hand, and you've got to wonder what's going through Dan Marino's head at this moment.
Incomplete.
Well, Scott Sequels is not going to impress a lot of folks with that kind of pass. He's missed a couple of open receivers here. 3rd and 10.
And the time remaining, 5:57. And the games remaining for these two teams. Kansas City will be at Miami next week. And as you saw a moment ago, San Diego now leading. The Colts will stay indoors. They go to the Superdome in New Orleans, site of the Super Bowl, all on Christmas Eve. And a reminder to our viewers to stay tuned on most of these NBC stations for the second half of the doubleheader. The Buffalo Bills will take on the 49ers. Some of you to see the Jets versus the Rams, and stay with us this afternoon. Pass a little bit behind Scott Schwades, but he spins with it and stays in bounds. Makes a good play. He looked pretty good today, including a 70-yard punt return for a touchdown.
He certainly got Miami off on the right foot early in the game. Also caught a big pass down in the air of the left end zone on a long drive.
Sequels fires over the middle, and this pass is complete at the 39-yard line. The second half of the doubleheader. The Buffalo Bills now, their fate, they now have full control. And San Francisco, they are already there. They're in the playoffs. They've got home field as long as it lasts. Buffalo is 8-6 starting this afternoon. Far side pass is incomplete. Good defensive hit.
Charlie, Harry Galbraith down there working his heart out, and he'll travel home on that plane, but when he gets back to Miami, he won't have to go back to an empty apartment because he's got a pet back there that's a bit unusual. Got a 5.5-foot python. Now, you might ask me, how did he end up with a snake as a pet?
No, I don't think I will.
There is a story. His sister was going to give him a dog.
You're going to tell me the story.
His sister was going to give him a dog. She decided not to give him the dog. He said, I went to buy a dog. They cost $400. He said, they gave me a snake for $80.
Shaka Zulu.
Well,
Shaka Zulu?
That's the name of the snake. He's glad that Shaka Zulu can't talk, because Shaka Zulu would say, Harry, what happened to the Dolphins today?
They may be ready to fight him when he comes back.
Might be.
Sequels gets the first down.
Schuler will be ready to bite these folks. That's going to be a long plane ride home after such a good game. And I have to say, last week's Miami game, the best overall game, offense, defense, and special teams that I've seen the Dolphins play in a long time. Today's game, they're back to inconsistent performance.
Renzo Hampton. Something else that you might want to consider. This is looking into the future. This is at the end of a Sunday of the National Football League. Right now, it looks as if Miami and Indianapolis will both have records of 8-7. Should Buffalo fall to the 49ers, their record will be 8-7, and going into the last week, it'll be a three-way tie in the East. And the tiebreaker looms large, all 9 points down to the toss of the coin.
Well, that's not good news for Miami, because they would lose in those tiebreakers to both Indianapolis and to Buffalo.
Buffalo can clinch a division title by winning the last two away games against San Francisco and at the Jets.
Defense, number 79, offsides, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Or Buffalo can clinch the division title with 1 victory and 1 Miami loss, which is happening here. The Bills could lose the last 2 and still clinch the title if Miami also loses twice and Indianapolis loses next week at New Orleans. The Bills win the division in a 3-way tie. All the possibilities. Makes it very intriguing. Christmas Eve, Santa is going to deliver a few presents to a few football teams, and some are going to be left stranded out in the cold. He doesn't look like he's leading, does he? Ron Meyer, the head coach of the Colts.
He has been emotional. He has been emotional. This has been a roller coaster ride this year for these two teams.
They're down in 3 at the 29. Seconds, time remaining in the ballgame. Seacos goes back across, and a good comeback reception.
Scott Schwades.
Scott Schwades.
Good play on the far side.
He's looked good. I've been impressed by him.
Yes, he has, Charlie. Eugene Daniel there to put the stop on him, but he fell down, got back up, made the catch.
And he saw his quarterback was in trouble, and he started coming back, working back to it.
And you're asking why the Colts are giving up this kind of yardage? They're staying back. They're allowing those completions in front of them. The clock is winding down. Knocked down. John Hand, number 78, got his big hand up in front. Here's some of that roller coaster season for these two teams, and it's been an emotional up and down. For the Dolphins, they lost 3 of their first 4, off to a horrible start. Well, there's more.
Are you sure?
I know they played more games than that.
All right, we're working on the mechanics.
There it is. Lost 3 of their first 4. They won 6 of their next 7. They really had it on a roll. And then back-to-back losses to Pittsburgh and Kansas City, but then coming back to tie in the AFC as Buffalo lost some ball games. And that's how things started at the beginning of this day. But it has been a real up-and-down ride for the Miami Dolphins. And here's Meyer on his sideline. And they've had the same kind of season. They lost their first 2 games. Everybody's saying, hey, they should go to the Super Bowl. They won 4 of their next 5. Again, off to a hot streak. They lost to the Patriots in overtime. Their first of 3 losses in a row. So they went stone cold and then came back to win 3 in their last 4, and they're winning again today. So it's been a season of ups and downs. And there's one of the downs, Don McNeil, showing you the prevalent emotion on the Dolphin side of the field at this moment.
3rd down and 10 Miami at the Colt 15-yard line. Just over 3.5 minutes remain.
Good pass, Sequels. He's kind of warming up, Charlie.
And he hit Brett Banks at the 4.
Came off the bench cold, missed a few easy passes, but he has been tacking them in there since that time.
Down and goal to go. Jitson, and the grass goes out of bounds, stopping the clock at the 2. Will be 2nd down and goal to go.
Mike Pryor making that stop, and of course Pryor involved in 2 huge plays last week. Stole the football, a play that we showed earlier. Now let's watch Pryor come up to put the clamps on Mr. Clutch Jim Jensen. Good steady tackle. Of course, Pryor, the man who intercepted Kosar last week and went 55 yards, Charlie, for that touchdown, called that the biggest play of his career.
Well, officially it's 58, but
58.
What's a yard?
Who cares? Who cares? He knew when he was 10 yards deep they were going to win the game.
He got the big 6 in overtime. Incomplete. Flag is down.
I think they're going to call a late hit on the quarterback.
Sequels has really been taking a beating, particularly by Harvey Armstrong in the previous plays. No, it's going to go against Miami. They've been sitting right in the face mask of Scott Sequels.
Looked as if there may have been a late hit, but they're going to call face masking, maybe against Dennis, Mark Dennis,
no, that wasn't
74.
No.
The official give us that call.
Up to the 12.
Offense, number 62, illegal hands to the face, 10-yard penalty.
Shaka Zulu will have to talk to him about that when he gets home.
somebody just turned this in, they'd wonder what you're talking about. That's the pet snake of this man, number 62.
Someone who had seen the first half of this game, a 14-13 and very close and emotional game,
and went away and came back,
would wonder what happened in the second half. The Colts have exploded offensively.
And overthrown. And those of you that hadn't tuned in before might wonder what is going on with Houston and Cincinnati, expecting to see that ball game. Cincinnati leads in the fourth quarter 52-0.
Houston has to get our vote as the team with the most ups and downs in this season.
They have the biggest roller coaster.
They've got the biggest roller coaster of all time in this season.
They really do.
They have killed some people at home. They've had some great games on the road, but boy, they have been stomped a couple of times this year. Who challenged the coaching credentials of Don Shula early in this season. With this very young Dolphin team, he has nothing to be ashamed of.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, third down.
He's brought his team back into contention. They're still in contention. They're hoping a little bit. They need some help. But they've done a great job with as many young people as they have on this Dolphin team.
And it also might tie in. They host Kansas City. Well, Kansas City having their problems with San Diego. Billy Joe Tolliver's thrown for a pair of touchdowns. Chris Pryor with a field goal. Chargers lead that one in the fourth, about midway, 20-13. Flags are down here.
Roy Foster backing off too quick. Left-hand side.
And don't forget to stay with us. The second half of the doubleheader. The Buffalo Bills, the record is 8-6, and they play at the 49ers, who have a 12-2 and are one of the favorites for the Super Bowl.
Offense, number 61, 5-yard penalty, third down.
Some of you to see the Jets-Rams game. And Buffalo starting their game, at least they're starting just about right now, will lead the East because Miami and Indianapolis will have 8-7 records. Buffalo is 8-6, so they're up half a game. And they're in control of their own destiny. So I like that play. We'll hear that a lot over the next week.
Perhaps more than I want to.
Yeah, we've already heard. I think I said it more than I want to.
Scott Secules, and that's a mistake a young quarterback often will make.
He almost got away with it.
Well, he threw it too hard, Charlie. Jim Jensen is 5 feet away, and Secules put too much heat on that pass. He's just going to go back out and throw it one more time. There's no sense kicking a field goal there.
This is the 18th play of this drive that started back at the 22 without this man, Dan Marino, at the helm. Marino, 15 of 33, 150 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception.
Last week, over 300 yards, but the first time in his career he'd gone over 300 yards without a touchdown pass, even though several of his passes ended up right around the 1-yard line.
Fourth down.
I think that's going to be offsides. It looked like John Hand was off about a step and a half before that ball was snapped.
Well, if you're going to be offsides, you might as well.
Well, maybe someone moved. Miami's line has been moving and giving a false start movement several of those last plays. But the officials sorted out. John Hand, by the way, tell me, he said, now, you people have been saying I weigh over 300 pounds. I do not weigh over 300 pounds. I only weigh 296. He said, now I want you to correct that. Hell, and they're going to say that there was movement in that Miami offensive line.
They can't. They said they want to refuse it. They can't refuse it.
Secules is going to tell someone, hey, if you're going to move, tackle a guy. Don't let him do this to me. As Big John Hand really puts the rap.
We have a false start, number 74, 5-yard penalty, fourth down again.
On Mark Dennis, the coach wanted to refuse it, but you can't refuse it because the play did not take place.
That's exactly right.
False start.
Well, and of course, Hand is happy in a way because that means that he'll be credited with a sack. Right. Was it an incomplete pass? No, it was no play.
It was no play.
That's right. He won't be credited with a sack. Forget that. Forget I said that.
I have forgotten. Merlin said. 2:47 is the time remaining. And now the officials are holding another conference. Make it a quick one, gentlemen. The Colts 42, the Dolphins 13.
After further review, play stand, 4th down.
They were reviewing the false start.
I didn't know that was reviewable.
I didn't either, but we now do.
They might have been reviewing where they marked the ball off to.
There. They were reviewing something. You can count on that. Into the end zone. Intercepted. Mike Pryor.
Sequels leveled on that play. Charlie, I've seen the officials eat a flag on occasion. You think they can go up to the replay booth and have them eat one of those replay machines? I don't know.
I think you put salt and pepper on the machine right now. We'll be back. Get them on.
It's big. It's now. It's Pontiac's all-out excitement closeout. Now with our longest-term 4.8% finance rate ever on Grand Prix. That's right. Now every new Grand Prix is available with long-term 4.8% financing. Or get your share of millions in cash back on Grand Prix and almost every other new 1990 Pontiac in stock. But hurry, your Pontiac dealer is closing out the year with big cash back or 4.8% financing on Grand Prix. It won't last long. See your Pontiac excitement dealer now.
I like cruising downtown in my limousine. Big skyscrapers and the nightlife scene. The rush hour traffic, we get around here. High fashion ladies and cold Coors beer. If you like your beer fresh, pure, and natural, head for the Rockies and the original taste of Coors. And tap an ice cold Coors with a friend of yours. Coors, the Rocky Mountain legend.
Something big is heating.
Scott Sequel's takes here reminds me of the hit Trudeau took last week. Boom, boom.
Oh, sandwich right there, and it sent Trudeau to the hospital last week. He came out and has had his greatest game ever. Maybe Sequels will be transformed by that hit, although I don't think it's the way it works.
Now Trudeau can stand on the sideline and enjoy the fruits of all of his labors as Tom Ramsey is the quarterback from the 20. He gives to Ivy Joe Hunter.
Yeah. You know that Dickerson is also on the sideline.
Today's telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Indianapolis Colts and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the National Football League, Miami Dolphins, and Indianapolis Colts. All rights reserved. And we'll take the countdown to the 2-minute mark. The eyes of Eric Dickerson. Oh, he sees everything.
You hear the thunder, thunder.
Back to the Hoosier Dome as we take a look at the score, 42-13. And Merlin, it's been, you mentioned the ups and downs of both of these ball clubs, but it's been an up and down season in the National Football League. Everybody really has a shot.
We've seen few teams be able to sustain their emotion throughout the season. I think the San Francisco 49ers, right, and surprisingly so, because
Denver.
The Denver Broncos, although they slipped last week a little bit, but not this week. They're back in force. But Charlie, everybody else kind of had those jumps up and down, and very obvious that these two teams suffered from it during the year, and we've seen it here in this ballgame today.
And this time Hunter will lose a couple of yards. And now let's take a look at the Budweiser most valuable player. It's not a surprise. 4 touchdown passes for Jack Trudeau, his career high, the best game I'm sure in his entire career. Accepting congratulations from all of his teammates, and Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all of the MVPs selected in all of today's games.
Trudeau would tell you, hey, 3 was my high. He'd only had 2 before today. He's gone to 3 and now to 4.
Ivy Joe Hunter, the rookie out of Kentucky. Colts just running the clock down.
Charlie, if I were a Miami Dolphin player and I had one wish right now, right at this moment, it would be that someone would buy me a ticket so I didn't have to go back on the plane with Don Shula, because it's going to be a very long flight. It always is when you lose. You know that there'll be introspection from some very proud Dolphins who have been embarrassed here today.
But they have one more game against Kansas City, and they need some help. The Colts have one more against New Orleans, and they need some help.
Maybe that's the nicest part. And Ron Meyer said it earlier. He said, you know, they tried to put us in the coffin earlier. We ain't dead yet. Well, Miami's not dead yet, but they died a pretty rugged death here today.
Ron Meyer also said the gods of football owe us a few more, and I'm not letting them off the hook, and he got one of them back today.
Well, there's a handshake between two coaches who have tracked their season in this up and down and vacillating year. Jack Trudeau shaking hands with his counterpart, Dan Marino.
The final, the Colts 42, the Dolphins 13, and we'll be back in just a moment.